Finally! Oh my God. Okay. What a pain in the ass. What a massive pain in the ass for YouTube to roll out this new vertical horizontal thing called Mars. Not only this was a pain in the ass, but I clicked on both the options, and guess what? It went ahead and went to vertical instead. So when I wanted horizontal, I don't know why this computer or this program assumed my sexual orientation when I like to do it horizontal on screen. Everybody else does. That's normal. I don't know why you would go ahead and switch everybody's orientation to vertical. Now all of a sudden it's like this disorientating for me to even have to adjust to this. Anyways, back to this. Let's get back to the news of the day and everything else. So, by the way, we have Zynga Harris and Cleaner. I'm going to be covering a lot of news topics of the day, and also I'm going to cover just a little bit on what we're going to cover in the next pop-up episode as well too. There's a lot to cover today. Let's get right into the news and everything else. But anyways, hopefully your week's going well. I didn't want to cover the debates or anything like that because I obviously watched these debates. If you're a fan of football or anything else, you're not obviously going to be multitasking. You're going to be watching the game. You know, and then maybe you'll cover the game later. But as far as this right now, I'm a political commentator, a satirist, and all this other stuff you want to call it. Like for me, I like to make sure that I cover the news without having to like multitask. I don't want to be distracted and then be like, all right, well, let me address the news later with you guys at the same time as I'm like watching the debate. For me, it's like if I'm watching a good movie, I don't want to be like, well, let me multitask in the movie theater while everybody else is watching while they're into this. I'm a huge fan of Andrew Wilson's debates. Cool Vic just had a debate right now for the first time. And then that's the thing, though, is like as these people are having their debates, you know, it's very fascinating to watch this. These are proud supporters of mine. And also, I'm avid supporters of theirs as well, too. I think it's good. I think all this is good. Let's get into the news of the day. There's a slight bit of fatigue that I'm going to add to this. And when I talk about fatigue, I mean a little bit of black fatigue. Let's get into it. It's funny because the music sounds based with the intro and then it goes into like, golly gee willikers, the weather's swell today music, like right at the end of that. Anyways, back to this. Let's cover some of the news today real quick. I'm not going to keep you guys long. I just wanted to give you a tidbit to hold you over to the next segment that I do, which is going to be pretty awesome.
Been found as legislators. When we go into these courts, the term violent crime is even used when people are stealing packages.
So Mayor Mamdani is redefining crime right now. Let's get into this right now as we're redefining definitions right now in real time and warping the reality of what's offensive to people and what's not offensive. So if he's saying that that's not a crime, what is a crime? None of this also makes any sense in any realm of reality. Realm of reality. This is like a really good tongue twister that you got right the second time, actually. So it's really dangerous rhetoric for him to utter things like this. For him to say violence is an artificial construct is really wild to me. I mean, do you think violence is an artificial construct when somebody's breaking into your house? This is crazy for him to even utter this. Let's go back to this. Let me reduce the music right now because I could be really dramatic with my background music, but let's play it right now because this is ridiculousness, just foolishness right off the bat.
When we go into these courts, the term violent crime is even used when people are stealing packages. Violent crime is even used when people are accused of burglary and there happens to be a housing unit in that same dwelling. So violence is an artificial construction.
Wow, violence is an artificial construction is crazy reach. This is insane. These people are just allowing things basically, because if you make violence an artificial construction, then guess what happens? You warp definitions and therefore you warp reality in the minds of brainwashed people that have elected you as their mayor. And this is what's going to happen. Mamdani is saying that violence is an artificial construct here. How wild. So I guess the bullets that I fire back to stop the criminal in my house, that's also imaginary bullets that I'm firing that are really going to imaginarily send you to the upper room. And that's what's going to happen if you break into my house. I'm sending imaginary gunfire your way. This is wild.
We have to be very clear that what is happening here with these district attorneys, that is violence. That is violence at the highest degree.
So these district attorneys are violent. That's real violence. But the violence of people getting mugged, raped on the street and all this, that's artificial violence. Crazy. And that's the thing, though. He's saying he wants to empty out the prisons. Read the prompt right here below that. And he gives a reason for why, which is crazy to me. Listen to this.
Our country should be more fearful.
It's an artificial construction. And we have to be very clear that what is happening here with these district attorneys, that is violence. That is violence at the highest degree.
Our country should be more fearful of white men across our country, because they are actually causing most of the deaths within.
Wait, what? So you mean to tell me the craziness in Chicago right now with the black on black crime right now is mostly just white somehow? Somehow that's white too? I can point to a lot of demographics and show you where there's a lot of crime and it's not by the group that you're talking to or referring about. Like, this is insane. What a crazy, this is the definition of prejudice right here in action. Will you please put her back in the country from where she came back? What the hell is she even talking about? This isn't even her country, but people voted her. It's just insane. I think it's crazy. They lump everybody in and say that whites are the most violent people when I could just drop you off in Chicago, California, even New York soon, which is going to happen. And I can show you the opposite's going to be the case, which is insane.
In this country, we should be profiling, monitoring, and creating policies to fight the radicalization of white men.
The radicalization of white men needs to be policed, and we need to. This is crazy. Like as if black people don't cause a lot of problem, as if we don't have a big massive black fatigue issue that's going on. This is just insane. Matter of fact, let me do a justice for my chat right now and just post this real quick, because I'm pretty sure, hell, what the hell? This is a pop-up stream anyways. I might as well just allow for some discourse if anybody wants to disagree or agree with me. There you go. There's the link. But this next clip is wild. Mamdani again. This is a political segment that I'm doing right now. So this is the problem. The homeless people are going to get on the bus and just stay on it as a shelter. If you don't think that the homeless people are going to get on the bus and not leave and refuse to leave, you're crazy, out of your mind. As soon as you make transportation free, it's like almost like he decides the stupidest thing that's going to pop up into his head. He's just going to say this. And then not only this, but if buses are free in New York, who's going to pay the drivers? We have to think about this. So we just make buses free instead of jailing the ones insulting the bus drivers. This is the logic we're going to dive into of the future escape from New York hellscape.
It's one of the key reasons why we have to make buses free, is because it reduces the assaults on bus drivers. It creates a safer work environment.
How are we going to?
So who pays for the bus? Who pays for the drivers? Buses require gas, right? If you have strong police presence, that's called a deterrent. Are you saying? And the crazy thing is, though, is if you don't have deterrents available, You inundate the police so much more, and you exhaust and put a strain on resources. This is just ridiculously insane. I can't believe they voted for this guy, but it's going to happen. It's good for the reason why I can say I told you so once he gets in.
Pay for it.
How are we going to pay for it with tax money? With tax dollars?
Okay, where the tax dollars come
Tax
from?
dollars are coming from all of the billionaires and wealthy people.
Well, they already pay. The top 1% already pays 50% of all taxes. Yeah.
Can you?
IRS data reflects that the top 1% already pays 50% of all taxes. But I ask you, so if you tax the rich to oblivion,
Yes.
what happens when the rich leave the city? Who's to tax then?
They won't leave the city
Why not? They've already done it in California.
because in New York State we have Wall Street. They're not leaving. And so what
You
if
think they can't leave? Then who are you going to tax when they leave?
We're just going to continue taxing people. But you're
Oh, the middle class, right?
Yes, actually, the middle
Oh,
class.
okay, so you explained it. So we're going to tax the shit out of the middle class when the rich people leave after you tax the shit out of them.
I think we should tax the shit out of everybody. Yes, I think the middle class should be taxed 50% like it does in Sweden.
And realize
That's crazy. She probably makes $0 and has zero bills. No one will condone 50% tax on the middle class that actually work and aren't the 1%. She's insane and out of her damn freaking mind. This is crazy. This is just insane. Like, who raised you? Whose child is this? This is crazy.
there's a policy proposal that says your plan, and I'm going to quote it for folks, is to shift the tax burden from overtaxed homeowners in the outer boroughs to more expensive homes in richer and whiter neighborhoods. Explain why you are bringing race into your tax proposal.
You got to be kidding me. So now discrimination's now okay? We're going to have discrimination and that's going to be okay? There's so much anti-white rhetoric that's going on in America right now that we're literally having reverse discrimination happening right now. What did they say in the other clip? You know what I'm saying? This woman is crazy. Zinga says, what policies does she have in mind? I don't understand, but it's the same rhetoric that this guy espouses right here. The same crazy liberal rhetoric that we're espousing right now. I'm so sick of people assuming that because you're white, you're rich. Like automatically the black community will say, well, you're white, you have opportunities and you must be rich, right? And here's the thing though, there's a lot of white people that grow up in poor areas with very little. White does not equal rich. I don't know what earth you were born into, but this guy Mamdani has no shame in lying. It's obvious. This is definitely the takeover plan that's happening.
Explain why you are bringing race into your tax proposal.
That is just a description of what we see right now. It's not driven by race. It's more of an assessment of what neighborhoods are being undertaxed versus overtaxed.
So no plans to change that language on your website.
The focus here is to actually ensure a fair property tax system, and that the use of that language is just an assessment of the neighborhood.
How is this not racist? How come everything is called racism until it's aimed at white people and it is no longer racism then? Can anybody answer this question? It's simply racism. It really is. I don't know how anybody can explain how this is not racism. And good on the reporter for actually calling him out, because very few people call people out on this and trying to maintain some kind of semblance of an image in over, morality and policy that they want to see for America. It's crazy. The USA has learned nothing from its past. Islam is and remains the greatest danger to the West. This uncivilized culture is incompatible with our society and our values. The world doesn't need Islam at all. It should fight it relentlessly and mercilessly. I don't say this because I'm an Orthodox believer or a catechumen. The past has shown that peaceful coexistence is impossible, and that intolerance or that tolerant solidarity and charity have been ruthlessly exploited, especially by Christians. Openness, cooperation, and trust have been trampled underfoot by this Islamic agenda that we have right now, especially with Mamdani right now, showing this on full display, racism. These people are not seeking integration. They're not interested in alliance. You people hear what's going on right now. They simply want to eradicate the rest and sow discord, hatred, and violence. How is this not the case? when we see what's going on politically right now in New York. It's going to happen. What is he saying right now? Everything that's racist.
Hypothetically, right, out of these two, who do you think is more likely to be supportive of human rights?
Number two, mostly because of I think it's like a keffiyeh or something. And then the Hamas shirt, I do think that violence is the voice of the unheard, and Hamas has been very much unheard for.
I do have to say, what kind of build is this? What kind of build does this woman got going? Anyways, you know what? Yeah, Lord have mercy. Let me stop talking about this woman like this. If you believe Hamas would support human rights, you should seek help. You should automatically seek help. Seek help at all times, ASAP, on the double, maybe a diet. But anyways, back to this, right? I found out who's been eating the humanitarian aid. Okay, let me stop. Last one. let's get back to it.
75 years.
I do want people to know that just because someone has committed.
Oh no, Lord, not Jasmine Crockett, please. Lord have mercy. Stop. Oh, I forgot I put that in here. I told you there was going to be a slight bit of fatigue in here. A little bit of black fatigue here. I knew it was going to happen. So you know what? Oh, well. This is what's happening right now. You're going to be inundated with this. This is insane.
Has been very much unheard for 75 years.
I do want people to know that just because someone has committed a crime, it doesn't make them a criminal.
What? There's no way that she is a lawyer. I want to see some proof. I got to see some proof. There's no way this is a lawyer. Just because someone murdered someone doesn't make them a murderer. This is the logic here. Crazy.
Someone has committed a crime, it doesn't make them a criminal. That is completely different. Being a criminal is more so about your mindset. Committing a crime can come for a lot of different reasons.
I'm really about to.
Did she go to Kamala Harris School of Law and Philosophy? That's crazy. All right, let's get back to this. This is just insane, people. I don't know what's going on in the United States right now, but I'm almost fatigued out with just Jasmine Crockett already. What a crock of rocks here. This is crazy.
Show y'all why we need to move out of America. Look at this. They're selling lion chops. They're taking exotic animals and cutting them up and putting them in our local grocery stores. Look, I'm insane.
Oh man, wait till she finds out about hot dogs. Wait till she finds out about buffalo wings. She's gonna be crazy. Oh hell no. What about the chicken fingers? What if she finds out about chicken fingers? Oh damn, watch out, man. This is crazy. Oh, don't let her in the produce. She might see the baby carrots. This is crazy. This woman's insane. The dyslexia is insane. See, this is what I'm talking about. Our literacy levels have plummeted through the basement. And then not to mention this, but our comprehension, I believe it's like below eighth grade right now at this point. She's looking at this and saying the loins are lions. And you know what? This is crazy. Fatigued out already.
Wait, they're putting lion meat in the fucking grocery stores. Lion meat.
Dig into that because you're talking about a rent freeze, you're talking about free buses, you're talking about free childcare. Can you do that without raising taxes?
I think you can do that, and I think you have to raise taxes on the top 1% of New Yorkers who make more than $1 million a year, and you do that by raising taxes by them 2%. And then you also increase the corporate tax of New York State to match that of New Jersey. So that takes us from about 7.25 to about 11.5%, which is what we see in New Jersey. These things together raise about $9 billion, which more than pays for our economic agenda and also starts to Trump-proof our state.
Oh, he's very sneaky. These Democrats are always very generous with other people's money. That's what he's doing right here. He's talking in such a way to where it's going to just blindside people because he's like, oh, you're just going to get free stuff, man. That's all. Why pay to ride the bus? You know, why pay for all these services? We're just going to go ahead and evict these landlords and then put the tenants as the new landlords. This is insane. This is socialism max right now. This is insane. I love how he's thinking he's going to raise corporate taxes and the corporations won't pass it along to the consumers and employees. Like, what earth is this guy living on? This is insane. I love the explanation of socialism I mean, this happened in Sweden. This happened in other countries, and it didn't really fare too well, right? The solution to every democratic problem is to raise taxes and blame the rich. That's his playbook.
Are you worried that could drive a lot of job creators out of New York?
So what I've heard from a number of business leaders is that the affordability crisis is also affecting their ability to attract and retain talent. The city's inability to provide childcare means that businesses often have to provide stipends for that childcare. Right now, the absence of universal childcare means that a family will pay around $22,500 a year, which is more money than many of them would spend if they sent that same kid to college 18 years later. And it is time for city government.
Well, here's the problem, though. Wookmoto, you're right. The businesses will leave. I don't know why he doesn't address this. He just overlooked this right now. Liberal Democrats, they always want to raise taxes, and then they want to punish people who worked hard to make money so that the people who don't work hard can be taken care of. Like, this is their thinking right now. During a government shutdown, you voted for a guy that wants to do everything for you, right? So this is what happens according to like the liberal mindset. They'll say this during a government shutdown. You're voting for a guy that wants to do everything that he can for you. This is how they're hearing this right now. I'm doing like liberal speak right now. And the problem with this is the problem with socialism is eventually you run out of other people's money. Remember, he's talking about free buses, free transportation. Who's going to pay for the gas in the buses? Who's going to pay the bus driver? How are they just going to pay the transit system? Right? Everything's free. Oh, taxpayer money, right? Crazy.
To actually step up to the responsibility that it has.
Not just the city government. That kind of a tax increase is going to require the state as well, including the governor, Kathy Hochul. Is she on board?
You know, I'm proud to have Governor Kathy Hochul's endorsement and the endorsement of our agenda, specifically universal child care. And I've said time and again, I think these are the two most direct and straightforward ways to raise this revenue. If there are other ways to raise this funds, the most important thing is that we actually fund this agenda.
This is crazy. This is what they voted in. You guys in New York are crazy. And this is insane. You know, notice how he does not mention anything else about taxation on everybody else. The middle class is going to be hit so hard, it's going to be ridiculous. Right? And this is insane. Since the millionaires and billionaires fund major portions of this city in taxes, right? All of them will just move. And then guess who gets hit? The middle class is going to get mollywopped now. That's it. Look, Moto, you bring up a good point. They're in the process of trying to find out his naturalization papers and everything else right now. That's going on right now. I think I have another clip, but I don't have it on me right now. And that's going on during the process of his immigrant status to the United States. He had made some statements as far as like unpatriotic statements, if you know what I mean. I can't say it on YouTube, but he was saying this, and they're doing an investigation right now on his citizenship. That's the only hope that New York has. But like Cleaner was saying earlier, this needs to happen. And if this happens, we're going to have a big I told you so at the end of the year. Actually, even past that, it's going to get even worse. These liberals are insane. All right, let me go ahead and take that off and then get back to this. I'm going to go ahead and just review because I just wanted to be really quick. Yes, Red Dawn with Curry. That movie was awesome. I liked the first one. The second one was okay, but the original one was the best one. The original movie. I'm going to go to somebody who I thoroughly destroyed in a debate recently, but we're going to just cover it really quick. I know we're only like 26 minutes into this, and it's going to be a really short stream. But that's why it's just a quick pop-up stream. I just want to cover something that was really crazy. Call this just a quick preview because I'm going to cover this. It's not even the debate. It's the post-debate with Andrew Wilson and Chuck. Let's get to it right now.
So I'll try to rephrase this. I'm going to reframe, and I'm just going to be totally honest with you. I will never be able to convince you of my worldview.
You won't.
I know.
This is cognitive dissonance already, right? I destroyed her in a debate, and then me and Andrew Wilson teamed up and destroyed her together. Now he's destroying her solo. But this post-debate was actually crazier than the real debate, believe it or not. I'm going to be covering this in the next podcast that I come out with. Not only will this be crazy, but she like, when you talk about low blows, this woman went super low. Not only is she bad faith, she suffers from cognitive dissonance. I put up a few clips, right? In kind of commemoration of me destroying Charlie already. Enemy Chuck, right? Let's get back to this.
But the reason is not because I'm not a great orator, or I don't make good points, or I haven't said things which should be compelling to a person. But Charlie, I just think honestly you're too fucking stupid to understand them.
He's correct about this. That's not even an ad hom. I think this is based on reality.
So Andrew, can I sell you on my worldview?
Yes.
Your wife has 3 baby daddies and has.
All right, here we go. This is we're approaching the realm of bullshit right now, right? Remember, they just had this debate. Now she's gonna take the gloves off and just get crazy.
Has been married twice before.
And you you lick sniz.
Under your religion.
You lick sniz.
What does that
You're
mean?
a fucking dyke. Don't
Now it's getting crazy, right? Fair game now. Andrew can hit back crazy too.
talk shit about my wife, you stupid bitch. Shut your fucking mouth. Shut your stupid bitch mouth.
Your wife with the 3 baby
What did I
daddies?
just say? Dyke?
Your wife with the 3
Sorry,
baby
oh, I'm sorry,
daddies?
Dyke. Is
Yeah, this is crazy. Chuck has been outwitted, outmatched, and outgunned. Now she's going to resort to this bullshit, right? I want to cover the rest of this, but we're going to cover this in the next podcast because it gets even crazier, right? Not only does this get crazy, but it's wildly just irreprehensible for you to come after Rachel Wilson like this. She's a super coper. For sure. Super coping right now. There's no other way, no ifs, ands, or buts how to even describe this right now. You go after Rachel Wilson, the gloves are coming off on Andrew Wilson's side like crazy. This woman is insane, right? I believe she's just utterly crazy. Okay, let me go ahead and just show this real quick, since I am in the mood to just share my quick screen real quick. You know, Wilkmoto, you're right. She couldn't sell ice in hell. I saw the chat. But she tried to sell equality to me. She honestly did. She tried to sell equality to me. Couldn't even do that. Right? Now, let's get to this real quick. This was the crazy part. Like, this was utterly insane. For sure. Let's get to this other segment real quick.
Behind, and if you think that women are still behind equality, or do you think that women are still behind? And if you think that women are still behind, how are they behind? And I want Charlie to go first, and I'm going to give it to Tolly.
I mean, I think Tolly would probably disagree, and that's okay. I think it's a personal, feeling. I feel that Roe v. Wade being overturned was a significant infringe severely on women's rights. The right to bodily autonomy. I don't think that women should have to.
Yeah. I'm feeling the same way as Marte and even Fatty here.
But, women advocated for their rights, and I think that, frankly, men could also do that. There's certainly women that would support you in doing so. Tolly seems to have the same opinions, so you could advocate for yourself.
What? Well, the reason why I believe in force doctrine and the reason why I have a different stance is because, as you noticed, and it's not me debating my own partner here, but I just want to make a distinction between the two, because if you notice, he said there's strength and weakness, and you still have to plead to men in the end, and that's what it boils down to.
That's true too.
It inevitably reveals itself to be force doctrine, and that's the conclusion anyways. I think when we talk to Charlie in the upper corner, she's actually arguing against her own interest, because I think that when she beckons to things like voting and all these other things, you want all that. But when it comes to responsibility, you tend to shirk it when it's not convenient for you.
Yeah.
I.e. things like dropping a baby off at a fire station, not being able to go to war, all these other things. It's great. You can have all the privileges, but no responsibility, thus making men into a pseudo slave class. How can you tell me that you want something to be equal while taking all the responsibility and shirking it in the end when it comes to the conclusion of things that you want?
Okay, Charlie, can you tell us?
Oh, shut up, Wick. Look, dude. Like, just let her answer. But I was just gonna say that, like, yeah, Marte is absolutely correct there, and I think he put it like excellently, way better than what Fatty could have done. Like, he's absolutely right. Like, in real time, we're seeing these women shirk their responsibility. Like when Fatty's saying, well, why don't you help us? They're like, well, it seems like you guys could handle it on your own. Like, oh, okay. Whenever it's not convenient for them, then they just say, fuck it.
Why you want men to be a pseudo slave class? I'm really curious. Go ahead.
Yes, I'd like to find out why slaves again.
Why you're slaves?
Yeah, crazy, right? So that's the thing, though, is like I asked Charlie this. I said, how are you not making men into a pseudo slave class? Because if you don't get conscripted for war, you don't have to enlist for selective services. You could drop a baby off at a baby safe haven. You can drop them off at a fire station. You can get rid of your responsibilities. You can then fight for custody, even though men are just as suitable as fathers. Like, I can go on. The list goes on, right? But they want all this authority without the responsibility or duties. You're turning the people with the responsibilities now, with no authorities, into slaves. How are you not turning men into a slave class? She couldn't answer this. Charlie got destroyed in this debate by me already. I have the full debate. It's like 4 hours long. So stupid. I hate going over to liberal networks to wreck their own people, but I'll do that occasionally from time to time. Matter of fact, I think I need a refresher. I think I need to go in their own trenches and then wreck the shit out of their own people. That's what because I've been on the conservative side too long. I think I need to go over to their side and wreck shop. That's what's going to, matter of fact, let me go ahead and put this on the itinerary. I'm glad I reminded myself. I'm going to actually figure out when Wick holds a stream and then just enter one of his panels and then just wreck shop. That's what I'm going to do. Matter of fact, I'm going to take you guys along for the ride as I wreck these freaking liberals. The guys that voted people in like Mamdani New York and all this other rhetoric, and I'll take you guys live in person, like, well, not in person, but live on stream with me as I go into these liberal dens of iniquity, these pit vipers, and then stomp the crap out of these people. Like, and that's what needs to happen. I think too many people hang out like me. I'm even going to chastise myself. I get too comfortable hanging out in conservative spaces all the time. Well, hey, good to see you again on this panel again. I know that anonymous space is good people. I know that all these people are good, but I think it's a little bit too conservative for my liking, and I'm not getting too much pushback sometimes. That's why I think I need to go over there on their end, because I think that sometimes, far too often, I wish that liberals would come to our side so we can actually have some competition, push back against our ideas, things like this. I'm always actually wishing the opposite, or wishing that on this end, saying, I wish, a person like Radical Coder could jump in on my chat so I could say, okay, well, I think that this is dumb, and I can explain why it's nonsensical for you to have these beliefs and all this, and I can have all that conversation. But here's the thing. I think we should be able to do both. If you are equipped in the art of debating, I think that if you're proficient and competent in discourse, I think there should be no reason why I go over to Wick's side and then do a good stomping on their side. I think it's going to produce. I mean, let's face it. I'm going to get some good clips anyways. I might as well do some good work, right? Do God's work on that side too. That's what I'm going to do. Matter of fact, I know Andrew Wilson does raids on TikTok. I'm going to do liberal raids on their freaking panels on their side. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to wait till Wick has I'm going to follow him on Twitter, right? And then put notifications on. So when he does have a panel, whether it's on Trump's border policies, whether or not it's on, Transformer stuff or anything else, I'm just going to hop on and just wreck shop. They're going to hate me, and I don't even care, right? Let's see if we can get somebody to rage quit just by using logic. Let's see if this can happen, right? I believe that this can happen. And then not to mention this, but my episode with Jubilee comes out this Sunday. That's going to be awesome because this billionaire gets the damn business. He's not happy when I show up. Matter of fact, you guys are going to see I wrecked this guy so good, they didn't even let me go up a second time. And then when I asked the producer, the woman who was running the show, Jubilee, you know what she told me? She said, we have to make the show fair for everybody. I kid you not. This is what she said. This is what the lady, it's like an Indian woman that runs the show over there. She said, the reason why we didn't let you back up is because we have to make this fair for everybody. We can't end the show that quick. That's what she told me. I stopped this guy when it came to his ideals. Matter of fact, I'm just going to tell you what it was. It was about the billionaire thinking that we can be the first generation that doesn't die. He wants to become immortal, right? I'm going to clip this and then pin this. I'm not even going to pin it, but I'm going to show it. It's going to be awesome. But when it comes to this is what I love debate, man. I do love debating people, man. I'll even debate my own people to make sure that they're fully grounded in the rhetoric that they have. Like Anonymous, or whenever I go to panels with even Cleaner, who could be in the chat, or anything else, or even Zynga or anybody else, I'll push back. And this isn't just because, I'm fighting your own people or eating people alive, my own alive, like they say. I'll do this because I think that their logic should be tested a little bit to see whether or not their beliefs are founded or grounded in a really logical premise. I think that that's really good to have your logic tested. Sometimes I'll do that. I think that's akin to playing devil's advocate. I think that's actually good. When I push back against the Zyngas, against the Anonymous base, the Cleaners, people like that, I think it's really good to challenge your own side's beliefs, right? Because if they can withstand these challenges, then they're that much more stronger when challenged by liberal people. I think that that's good. I think that you should be tested, even by your own. Not only does this help with that, but it also weeds out people who are wolves who don't belong on your side anyways. I think that vetting of your own circle is good. Men do this all the time. We'll roast each other before we go out. Back in the days when I used to go clubbing or whatever that is, I'll roast a guy. And if he was too weak and couldn't tolerate it, guess what? He wasn't in the clique or the circle anymore. I think that that's good. Men by nature do this anyways. If you're a guy, you know what I'm saying, right? But as far as women do vetting too. If you're a weak, soft guy and she doesn't respect you, you get vetted out real quick, man. That's what's going to happen. For sure. Omni Future says, Brian Johnson, get a life. Yeah, he thinks that he can live forever. And what's crazy is when I met Brian Johnson in person, how do I even describe this? He looks, remember the movie Alien? Let me show you what Brian Johnson looks like, right? I gotta show you this real quick because this is what Brian Johnson looks like in person. All right, this is crazy. Please don't judge me for this. I have to show you this real quick. This is crazy. Brian Johnson really looks like this in person. All right, here we go. I have to share this screen real quick. Stop stream. Okay. Share screen. Oh, all these things we got to do. Okay, here we go. Brian Johnson looks like this in person. You guys ever seen the engineers from Aliens? These guys. Hold on, let me see if I can at least. These guys right here. Brian Johnson looks like these people. He looks like one of these guys, right? But the reason why I say that, matter of fact, this isn't even doing it justice, right? He looks like the cyborg in Aliens, the guy that was helping out on the ship that got ripped in half. He looks fake almost. Like his skin looks like mannequin skin. And then he's got these piercing blue eyes. It's the weirdest uncanny valley feeling that you'll ever get. I don't know if you guys know what uncanny valley is, but I experienced uncanny valley when I met Brian Johnson at Jubilee. And this is really odd because I saw this guy and I was like, he looks photoshopped in real life, but like in a way to where it's like you can understand like the speculation about Michael Jackson bleaching his skin. What's real? Is his nose real? All this stuff. When I saw him, I literally had this thought going on in my head. Like, I wouldn't be shocked if there was like, you know, machine parts moving underneath the skin or something like that. That's the feeling that I got when I ran into him. It was just crazy. Like, I'm literally being honest right now. You guys look at a video of this guy, it doesn't do him justice in person. But anyways, the video is going to drop this Sunday. I might do like a little quick premiere or whatever. I'm going to obviously edit it and clip it up. Hopefully Jubilee doesn't give me a strike for showing the video. But I'm going to be on possibly like 3 more Jubilee episodes. It just depends if it's a topic I like. They wanted to invite me back and they messaged me. They wanted me to get on a Jubilee episode debating a doctor who isn't somebody. And it was about whether or not RFK had good policies or not. I was not interested in doing that. Like, I'm going to fly all the way to LA just for something I'm not interested in. Like, this was an interesting topic. Brian Johnson saying that he was going to be a millionaire or an immortal person, and he wants us to be the first generation that doesn't die. But it's funny when people asked him, it was like, do you think you want to be immortal? He's like, no, not immortal. You know, just people that just don't die. Well, what do you think immortal means, dummy? So he kept using like a word concept fallacy the whole time, which was crazy. He said, I want people to just never die. But I'm not saying people should be immortal. Do you understand the contradiction that just came out of your damn... It was this that kind of just set me off at Jubilee. I heard this, but I was like, you know what? I don't even need to address this because he's hanging himself in this debate. It was me and another Christian guy. He was actually Orthodox and he was from Arizona too. We were the only 2 people out of like the 12 people or 10, I think it was like 10 people who actually had a debate. The other people went up to the table and they were asking Brian Johnson questions like, you know, I was wondering, since you got all this money, you know, how do you expect everybody else to be happy for you when they're not eating? Like, that had nothing to do with the prompt, right? They didn't have any arguments. There was a female comedian that showed up, and all she did was berate him the whole time. She didn't have a debate, no arguments. She just berated him, and I guarantee that's what's going to make the highlight reel, right? It was just me. I had a solid debate, and it was something like it. I'm going to go into like how they run things at Jubilee. The crazy thing about the whole chair thing at Jubilee is it's all acted out, theatrical. It's all staged. So Omni-Man says, I wonder who the comedian was. She was a nobody. She was a no-name some. I had mentioned, I said I destroyed Destiny at a debate like 2 months prior to that. She was like, there's no way you didn't destroy Destiny. I was like, if you want to see it, it's on my YouTube channel. It's like he's not good at debating January 6th, which he's tried this so many times. I look forward to debating him again and wrecking him one last time. So here's the thing, though. She was a nobody, and she was just saying that, and I was like, oh, so you're a liberal, right? She was like, you say that like it's a derogatory term. And I said, it would be if I got called one. She got so pissed. And the director was like, what's going on here? We're not having debates against each other. We're going to have it towards Brian Johnson. She said that. She was so fucking pissed. He said, you think you act like that's just an insult? I said, it would be if I was called one. So mad, right? And then that's the problem, though. That was the huge problem, is nobody had a debate at Jubilee except for me and this other guy who was like another Orthodox Christian. He actually went longer than me, but they only let me go up once. So back to this, it's very theatrical. It's all staged. When they act like you're going to run for the chairs, they already know who's going to get to the chair, because before they film the footage, this is why I think they come out with footage later on, because they have to edit it so much. So what the person does that's running it, this Indian lady, she says, who'd like to, she brings up the prompt, right? And then she says, who wants to address this prompt with Brian? Raise your hand. And we all raise our hand. And then she picks a random person and she says, you. Okay, now when I say who wants to address it, everybody else act like you're running for the chair, but the person who I picked gets the chair. You see, so it's all staged at Jubilee. Even though like I can reach out and literally touch the chair like this, they actually stopped it because of me, because I got up and it didn't look like I was up. It just didn't look realistic. She said, okay, cut. We're going to try it again. Marte, could you act like you're getting up slower? Like, I kid you not. This is how it happened. Because I purposely, I'm a strategist. I picked the closest chair to Brian Johnson's chair, or the chair across from him, on purpose, strategically, not knowing that all of this was staged. But I had the hardest time because if I'm the closest, I now have to play like I'm getting up slower than everybody. So if it looks like I'm a geriatric in the episode, that's why. That's why it looks like that, which is crazy. So the whole episode on Jubilee is staged except for the part where I rip Brian Johnson apart and destroy the shit out of this guy. What's up, Jay?
Marte, I'm just here to advertise your first amendment massacre that you where you cooked.
Oh, that was
that's
crazy,
his name,
man.
right? What was his name? First
Amender. Yeah,
that guy's a goof, dude.
First offender.
You destroyed him, guys. Please, go to that stream. I don't know how you can share the link, but guys, go to Marte's channel here, and I think he has the live. Guys, he showed up 30 minutes late, right? Didn't he? He showed up.
Yeah, he showed up late,
and then nothing but just red herrings, non sequiturs, just babbling, and not answering your questions. He got completely cooked and then coped so hard afterwards. It's absolutely insane. And
yeah, I held a cope stream afterwards. Like I showed his cope stream was 39 minutes long.
Yeah. Of him,
it was
just
crazy,
like
man.
Acting like somehow he won, and then he like rage quit for a little bit. And I just don't understand people. What do you call in debate someone that's so? How can?
Oh, he was bad faith, and also he had a lot of cognitive dissonance as well too.
He's so bad at it, but he's confidently shit.
Well,
he's like arrogantly bad at debating. It's
like,
crazy.
why would you have a book of a rat uterus on hand just in case you have a debate? That was crazy.
I don't understand it. I just
like
don't.
He was like going to say that men are women and humans, and then he told me, well, cars aren't humans, and he said I can't compare humans to anything else. But you're showing a rat uterus. Rats aren't humans, but you're talking about rat. It was crazy because he went back to the rat uterus several times. Like he had an obsession with this. I guarantee you there were pages in that rat uterus book that were probably sticky, but we're not going to get into that. It was crazy. But then when I asked him, here was the thing that I asked him in the debate. I said, hold on. So we had somebody at Gold's Gym that just got caught. He said, no, you're delusional. It didn't happen. Well, I could pull up the link if you want me to.
Yeah.
And this is where he buried himself. Because he wanted to, and I knew he was going to do this. He was going to pull up his scientific data and everything. And I just did something very simple. I let him talk.
Yeah.
I shut up and I let him talk. And then when I was listening, I said, where in 2025 are people harming Transformer people.
Yeah.
And then he pulled it up, and I looked at this. I said, "Oh, okay,
Yeah, I saw that.
okay." And then I said, "Hold on." I said, "Where in 2025?" He said, "No, you didn't ask that." I said, "You can rewind
you
the
did.
tape. I asked you in
And then he tried
2025."
to hide the date on the article. He tried to hide it, or he wouldn't bring it up again.
And then I asked him where in 2025, and he said, "Well, that's a goalpost move." I said, "No, it's not. This is directly pertaining to the article you brought up. This is the opposite of a goalpost move. I'm asking you about the information." And then he lied to me during the debate about this. I called him out on this, and I'm like, "Bro, come on, bro." Right? And then I told him, "Did I not say you got to be trolling me? Are you trolling me?"
Well, there's one thing you gotta understand. It's like, okay, did you see Andrew Wilson? He debated that stupid knucklehead Gloctavia girl, you know, the hippie black girl today.
Oh yeah, that was crazy.
Okay,
That was
okay. First of all, have you noticed,
insane.
guys, how all these wokey First of all, Marte, isn't it funny? Once again, all the light skinned girls are always I'm black and you black, but black, y'all. You know what I'm saying? All the mixed race girls, right? And they're always dating white dudes. It's like they talk about colonizers and stuff, but they're always sleeping with the colonizer.
Right, and then not only that, but here's the bait and switch that they'll do. They'll not only sleep with quote unquote colonizers. When every race colonized something, right? Even indigenous people colonized this land. Believe it or not, it happened. We can look in the past. So here's the problem with this: is she'll talk to Andrew Wilson and she'll sound like that, but she'll get around black people and then she'll start speaking Ebonics, and then her language and tone will change. Jasmine Crockett does the very same thing.
The Jasmine Crockett fools.
She'll sound white or educated, as black people say white, but then when she gets around brothers and sisters, she'll sound like a brother or sister. You know, she'll just talk like this, and I'm like, this is so fake. And I think that this girl today was one of them. Just crazy.
But Andrew Wilson, he made a great point, guys. I really hope that you go back and watch that debate, because I only watched part of it. I have to watch the whole thing. Is once again you can see how Marte and Andrew Wilson deal with these new, like first offender and Dean and all these TikTok brained debaters. They're TikTok politics people.
Yeah,
there's all this passive aggressiveness. They say your name, Marte. Now Marte, that's a passive aggressive. Marte knows what his damn name is. Andrew. Oh my God! Why? Chill out, bro. It's like, why are you doing that? But Andrew Wilson said it the best. Dean and Parker won't come to debate him in person. Why? Because then they can't have their Discord members sending them answers and using Chat GPT.
Or hit the mute button constantly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Every time Andrew has cooked, was it Crash Out Casey or whatever?
Kylie.
Yeah. And then they actually caught, was it Dean or Parker using Discord for answers? And then there was another guy, I don't know his name, where he actually he had his screen, the camera on his screen, and he was actually using Chat GPT in the middle of a debate. He actually caught himself doing it. So I think that when you watch a debate, like watch Marte, he does a thing where when Marte's listening, he looks up. And when he's talking, he looks up because he's formulating thoughts. I never see Marte looking at a screen. I don't see him looking at his phone. I don't even see you looking at notes. You know what I'm saying? That's how you know that you're truly engaged in the debate and that you're good at what you do. I never see you off to the side. I never hear you typing, because you know your shit. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
and
he was
knows
typing
his stuff. So
he was typing in the debate, and I called him out in my intro. I said, I hear you typing right now, and you can look up all the Chat GPT and Google everything else. You're going to need all the help you can get.
Yeah,
I told him that in my initial statement because I heard him typing. And then, not to mention this, but this is what destroyed him. He wasn't listening to everything I was saying, and he kept saying some things like, well, what were you saying again? Like, he kept saying that because he was distracted looking up sources. And I'm like,
but Marte,
such an idiot.
If there's one thing that I've seen you do that you haven't done that I wish you would do more, because that's when I first saw you debate, that you and Andrew doesn't do this much more, but there was like one or two times where you could have asked first a member to just steel man your argument, but because he would always go, well, you're trying to say that Transformers shouldn't. exists. Like, I didn't say that at all. Here, steel man my argument for him.
That's true. I'm glad you brought that up. That's a good reminder.
And you would do that more. You know,
Yeah.
I just think that as the debate sphere changes, but I think that's the thing that the wokey wokes, because let's be honest, when they see you and Andrew Wilson and whatever, they already have a idea of what they think you're gonna say from the jump. You know what I'm saying? They already think that they have you figured out. Oh, Marte is some horrible schmotzy, blah blah blah. And you're like, "Fine, tell me what you think I think, or tell me what you think I said," because you know that they're not listening. You know what I'm saying?
Well, they're not.
And then they just
They're
look
not
like,
listening.
but that first amender guy, like, he has the whole thing, debate a liberal, and it's like, who are you talking to? Like he only has trolls. You guys know how Fresh from Fresh and Fit, anytime they have a call-in show, like 70% of the calls are guys clowning Fresh. It's like, why even have that segment of the show? He really thinks that he's winning. People will call into his little stream with like 5 people, or 2 people, and then he just goes off about Trump, and then thinks he's winning. It's like, you better change up your formula, because all you're doing is embarrassing yourselves.
I have a good idea, AJ. And I presented this before you got online. I said, you know what? I'm going to start moving more into liberal spaces and just start wrecking their shops.
Yeah, because here's the thing: you're black, so that's oops already. They can't call you a racist or a schmotzy, so now they have to actually argue. Which is why I think that, sorry to say this, no matter what Candace Owens does, love her or hate her, right? I'm not the biggest fan, but I like back in the day when she was blowing up, because people, what would they do? Oh, they can't use the gender card, the sex card or the race card, and then they have to actually debate her. And now they're totally cooked. You know what I'm saying? So,
and here's the thing, though. First Amendment was he had the dumbest arguments. He was like, "You work out." Like, he tried to use this, and I'm like, "You're using this on a bodybuilder? How
put
smart
on
are
muscle
you?"
to be more manly because you want to embody the male gender, and you cook them. You're like, dude, guys work out to compete.
What's
the
up,
number
Cool Vic?
one thing? The number one thing that guys exercise for is competition, because we want to compete with other dudes to get chicks, to get stronger. So we're trying to bench more than our friends, or we're in a combat sport, or we're playing football. Most guys, and that makes us feel good. But guys don't go, to quote a great American philosopher named Marte, I've never in my fucking life heard a guy say that. I'm trying to work out to fill out the male gender.
Yeah. Hey, Vic, I just saw your debate. If you can come up, I just want to ask you some questions about it. That's pretty awesome. I got to see you debate.
I watched part of it too. It was good.
I got to see it. It was pretty cool. I got off work, right? And then I just tuned in. Your alert didn't come on or anything like that. But if you could grace us with your presence for like 3 minutes, because I just have like a counter and a question about like how it went real quick.
Pin the StreamYard link.
Yeah, put it in there. Let me start real quick.
Yeah. Because it was hard for me to find it. So
yeah, it was crazy. But here's the thing, though, is like, going back to this whole debate, it was crazy because like he was asking me, and I used his own logic against him. I asked him, wherever in nature do you see this, people trying to look more like the thing than they already are?
Yeah.
Because I said, do you ever see rats and scientists trying to make a rat look more like a rat? And then he said, well, that doesn't make any sense. Okay, well, a male rat. You ever see scientists trying to make a male rat look more like a male rat? Does this ever exist? Do you ever see people trying to make a car look more like a car? And then he said, well, that's stupid. You're using automation and all these other things. And then he proceeds to bring up a rat uterus picture. And I'm like, bro, you just hung your whole argument. So it's so stupid. I'm just like, this guy was such an idiot.
Someone says, congratulations, Wi-Fi Gospel on 1K. Guys, Marte, he just hit 1,100 subs. And then whoever Wi-Fi Gospel is, guys, I've been doing the YouTube thing for a while, guys. Your first 1,000 subs, I honestly believe that YouTube makes 1,000 subs hard for a reason, to see how that's a big achievement. So all like Marte, congrats,
Well,
man. You're doing the
yeah.
damn thing. You know, because 1,000 subs is hard to do. There's guys that have been doing videos for 10 years, 15 years that haven't hit 1,000 subs. So
Wi-Fi
congrats.
Gospel, if you can, I don't know if you have any time. Can you come up for like 3 minutes? Because I watched your debate. I just want to have a conversation about it. I think you guys did really well, man. I want to congratulate you guys too.
Part of it. It was
If that'll come up. I think it was a really good, interesting topic. I think that this would have been a debate that I wish I would have partnered up with one of you guys on. Like this would have been something I would have definitely jumped in on, especially when it comes to like the rhetoric. You know, the problem with this is like, I really don't think that your opposition, the liberal side on this, I don't know what the guy's name was, the crunchy guy or whatever his name. I'm probably chopping his name up, but I don't really think they have good arguments for like the cultural
zesty guy.
yeah, the cultural element of this. Matter of fact, Wi-Fi Gospel, everybody, how's it going?
Hey, what's up, man?
Hey, what's up, guys? Martin, is it AJ? I can't see the name now.
AJ, yep. Hey, congrats
Nice to meet
on
you
your
guys.
1,000 subs, man. Congratulations, my friend. You know,
congratulations.
We did it.
That
It's
means
been
you've
about, I think, a
grinding,
year
man.
and a half.
Yeah, congrats, man. Congrats.
Thanks,
the sky's
guys.
the limit from here. You and Marte and all you guys. Yes, I watched part of your debate, and like I said, I'm not a debater, so I'm kind of an outsider in this space. But I'll give you the same speech that I give Marte. I don't know how you guys do it. You guys have so much patience because I'd be cussing these morons out. 'Cause they say such stupid stuff. Marte knows me. You know what I'm saying? Like, they say such stupid stuff, and I'm like, you're a moron. There's no way. You know, I know, and your mama knows that you don't believe that. You know what I'm saying? And you're gonna embarrass yourself on the internet. But you guys did a good job. So
What? Wi-Fi Gospel, I do want to say this because I would have, there were so many points in your debate when I just wanted, mind you, I only watched the latter portion of it where I wanted to kind of like just input you ever watch a football game and you're like, oh, I just want to get on the field and like score. Oh, no, move this. And your body's moving and you want to just jump in. Like this was one of those debates where I just wanted to jump in. You, of course, you were carrying a lot of the heavy load, but here's the thing though. Cool Vic was doing good snipe work in the background. He was sniping. And I think that that's a really good strategy to use. One of the things that I wanted to ask was like, because here's my input on your debate, was like, there's also the cultural shift issue that we have in America. Whenever you have Islamists and people from different cultures come in, they start warping and changing your traditions in society and start undoing some of these things that we have that built the structure of America, keep it intact, especially when people talk about replacement theory, because when you're replacing people because of the older population that these people are talking about, you're also replacing beliefs, traditions, values, and functions. The America that we have 60 years from now isn't going to be the same way if you start doing this.
Yeah, it's 100% valid and an angle I should have took. This was my first like normative politics debate. I did a bunch of like philosophical, theological debates, and I'm trying to get more into the politics. And so like this is like my first real hard look at immigration in general. And we had about 2 weeks, and me and Vic hopped on a few calls. We did a lot of studying, and there's so many angles we could have took. I totally understand what you're saying about, especially when you're a fellow debater. You know, like you see an opening, you're like, I just want to hit him.
Here was the other thing too. So they use the dehumanization argument, like you're like dehumanizing people. I would have just, and here's my thought automatically. I was looking at my phone. I was like, I just want to jump through the screen and just be a third element on your side and just be like, hold on. So if somebody broke in my house, I'm dehumanizing the burglar that's sitting on my couch right now. Meanwhile, we have a border that you say shouldn't exist or anything like that. It's not present. What do I do about this guy on my couch? Is it dehumanizing for me to call the police and remove this guy, or to even have propaganda to say, I think these guys that sleep on our couches unauthorized are bums? What's dehumanizing about that? Do you think that somebody sleeping on my couch who let themselves inside of my house is dehumanized by my rhetoric or propaganda to be against criminal activity? Like I would have just,
but I guess
such a good debate.
There's one thing, this is more of an issue for like the UK and other places where a lot of their immigrants are from places where there's a lot of sand. You know what I'm saying? And their values are diametrically opposed to the very liberal values of the knuckleheads that are letting them in. And that's the one thing where a lot of the far left, like open borders people that I've been talking to is like, look, first of all, the left has a huge hole in its kind of values when it comes to Islamists, right? So they let people on their side, right? Oh, we have to value Islam, blah blah. Who guys from Afghanistan and whatever, they don't agree with women's rights and LGBTQ. How do you square that peg? And then also, at what point? I said you want to protect the very values that you say conservatives are threatening, but the people that you're letting in are way more conservative when it comes to those things as a conservative.
Yeah,
Why Dearborn, Michigan, guys. I'm from Washington State. There was a high school in my hometown of Seattle where an Iraqi man and father and mother tried to honor kill their daughter in front of the high school. They jumped out of the car because they were trying to marry her. Yeah. This is happening in America. It's like, I thought they were feminists and they're pro-woman, right? I thought that they were, you know what I mean? They're acting like this doesn't happen. So just pointing out the contradictions in their logic is so easy to do, you know? So
I do want to say Wi-Fi Gospel, man, that was a stellar job you guys did. You guys definitely took the W on this one. But also, I think it was a position that was almost like untenable to win and indefensible, to be honest with you. We had more ammunition on our side. But what do you think? How do you think you did in this debate?
I'd give myself probably like a 7 or an 8. There were some things I was unprepared for. I'll just be on it. Like the actual policies, right? I could have done a better job because looking back at it, it's not so much that Trump has made a bunch of major policies. He has passed some acts, but it's really his executive orders that are guiding how the policies are being executed. And so I could have done a lot better there. Another thing I could have done better on is those moments where, like you said, we had ammunition. Both of you just made really good points. The analogy that you gave about someone breaking into your home, it personalizes it and it makes people understand it better. It was a great point. And secondly, I could have, when you were talking, AJ, I was like, oh man, the easiest layup was to just been, okay, you don't have a problem with 100 million people coming into America. What if it was 100 million Muslims and they want to come in here and do everything opposite of you lefties that you hate so much? You wouldn't have a problem with that, apparently.
Yeah, there's
If they became the majority.
where there's one town that I had talked about on my channel. So the mayor's Muslim, the city council's Muslim. First thing that they did was ban the pride.
Oh, sorry. Not to cut you off, but I just want to say before I forget, Vic, you're right about Vic sniping in the back. He did amazing. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, his channel's blowing up too, man. Yeah, you guys did a great job.
Vic is mogging us. Me and Wi-Fi Gospel are getting mogged by Vic. Trust, I'm telling you right now, by numbers alone, me and Wi-Fi Gospel are just creeping past the grand right now, trying to just. Yeah, we'll get there sometime though. It's gonna happen.
For sure.
Yeah, but you guys are doing good, and I think that you remember, like, young guys, Gen Z young men have had it. They've had it with this liberal woke crap. Gen Z young white men have had it. You can't shame them and call them racist or anti-LD. They don't care, and they see Marte and Wi-Fi and Vic and Andrew Wilson and all you guys, and they're resonating with this. They're saying,
I dropped Wi-Fi Gospel's channel in the chat. Please go ahead and subscribe if you guys support me.
Drop you a sub, man. Let's
support this guy. Also support AJ's rants and reactions as well too. So you guys know where he's at. This guy's an up-and-coming debater as well too. I think maybe I've been on the scene a little bit longer, but I mean he performed like a pretty good professional tonight, I'd say. So
Wi-Fi, have you seen?
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Marte and Wi-Fi. I was telling guys on my channel that whole atheist plus all you Christians are all stupid. We're gonna debate you, bro. That whole movement's cooked, right? They're so cooked because they let in the church of woke. If you go to any atheist channel, you see pronouns, you see transformers. They basically made it a requirement that you have to be a far leftist in order to be part of that movement. And I honestly think that's what pushed a lot of people more towards, non-denominational Christianity and into other forms. But back in the 2010s and like the early 2010s, I used to be into that whole thing, and now I'm not. It's all foolishness. You know what I'm saying? But right around 2016, when that's how Andrew Wilson crushed Matt Dillahunty. The whole atheist movement now, we're so smart. We believe in science, except we think that men can be women and women can be men. You're cooked. You're cooked.
Oh, yeah. First Amendment didn't stand a chance. The only thing I was worried about, AJ, in that debate was that he was just going to gish gallop and then filibuster the whole time and then assert he's right, even though I'm stomping him the whole time. I think that the whole crucible has destroyed him. He got destroyed by Rob like 2 days after I destroyed him. And then previously, Rachel and Andrew Wilson destroyed this guy. I think he's a sadist or something. He likes getting beat down.
Marte. That's what,
Dude, I literally went to school with a guy who would become friends with people by getting beat up, and people just eventually were like, all right, he's not that bad because he just kept getting beat up all the time.
That's it. Yeah, First Amendment. It sounds like First Amendment.
Andrew Wilson crushed Matt Dillahunty because that whole thing, Matt Dillahunty back in the day had this British guy on his show, and that British guy the previous week had said Transformers don't belong in women's sports. So then all the wokes came after Matt Dillahunty, right? And he almost got canceled for it. That's when he started dating the trans person and saying that, going heavy into the whole Transformers thing, just like Neil deGrasse Tyson. You guys remember him? He's supposed to be Mr. Physics and all this other stuff, but then says that men can be women. So it's all cooked. Right now, the Christian right.
Well, I'll say this though. I'll say that moving forward, Wi-Fi Gospel, and I'll talk about Cool Vic too. I know he's probably listening, right? He's probably busy being Mr. Husband right now, all that. Maybe I'm in the background playing, right? But this goes out to Wi-Fi Gospel and Cool Vic right now. Whenever you guys have another debate like this, please tag me in and just be like, Marte is going to tag me, because I like destroying these people. I don't mind doing this, and it's very fun. Because here's the thing, Wi-Fi, you bring a different element to the table. I don't do theology. Although I am an avid Christian, I'm a catechism and all this other stuff. Like, I don't want to do theology. What I want to do is look at their secular arguments and turn them on their head and destroy them with their own arguments and show them how nonsensical they are. You would be a great sniper in the background saying, no, according to Leviticus, this doesn't make any sense, and I can explain why. And you could do that. Man, we would be a lethal team. And then not to mention this, but Vic is so good at sniping. Vic could do, and what I mean by when I say sniping is like the guy that says, AJ, did you not hear what Wi-Fi Gospel just said? Hold on. You need to answer his question before you go to the next topic. That's sniping. You know, things like this. Sniping is extremely important. I did this for Andrew Wilson in the debate. Although I felt like, when he said, well, your back must be tired from carrying all the weight of the debate. No, Vic actually had an important role, which I'm going to call is the sniper role. It's extremely important. It's to let the other person not get away, because sometimes you can become so engrossed in the debate, you forget to stay on a question or re-ask it because somebody's running. That person can then hold them accountable because he's on the outside looking in.
But
you see what I'm saying?
This is why, like Wi-Fi, Vic, Marte, Andrew Wilson, this is why you guys are going to keep winning, because you guys don't have egos. I've during the whole Raging Tomato thing, Andrew Wilson said that Rob Moore is a better political debater than Andrew is. Andrew's better at the philosophy theology thing. Marte just said, look, hey, I believe that you are better than me, so let's come together. Whereas someone like First Amendment thinks he's God's gift, or Destiny that I'm just so good at everything, and no, you're not. You have to have people in your circle to shore up those holes, or actually like be the experts, the subject matter experts on said things. And that's why you guys, I'm telling you, you're going to make a big splash, and you're going to keep winning. It's because you don't think that you know everything. You just know what's right, and you're trying to push for it. So.
Well, Wi-Fi Gospel, the more you start doing debates and the more you get these reps in, the better you're going to be and the less mistakes you're going to make and the more you're going to refine these arguments, because you're going to be like, you're going to have the situation like, I've been here before. I've been asked the same question, only differently. I'm going to approach it this way. So now you have more battlefield experience. So now when the enemy killed you, they can't kill you the same way twice because you already know how to evade that bullet. You know how to dodge this. You become more like Neo in these debates. And that's what eventually is going to happen. Experience is going to teach you this, and you're going to become more competent as time goes, Wi-Fi Gospel. So.
Yeah, no, definitely. And like I noticed when you do a certain topic over and over again, it amplifies because once you enter a new topic, like there's so many holes open back up, so like in your armor. Whereas like when you do a certain topic, like you fill those holes the more you do it, you know what I mean? But I think you're right about like when you have a duo debate, it's a completely separate skill. And it's hard to have two people. The best people I see do it are the ones who, one, consistently defend their partner in the debate, and bring them into the discussion, like to snipe in certain ways. And it's a separate skill. It's hard to do.
Well, and then not to mention that, but there's this element too, right? So next time, and I'm going to tell you this, I don't care if my opponents or enemies are watching, because I have several debates coming up right now. And I don't care. You guys are going to get bodied anyway, so I don't care if you guys, I'm listening for tips or anything. I don't even care. Powder Dusty says, be like Marte and use AI. Oh, of course, this guy right here. Anyways, back to this.
The thing is though, once again, a lot of
I do want to say this real quick, though. I do want to say this. So next time Wi-Fi Gospel, either you or I would say Cool Vic wants to do a debate, we could do like a Zoom thing or something else that's not public, and then do like a devil's advocate run where I can go ahead and just try to be the opposition and destroy you on a different, I would say, an amoral topic or something like that, or the liberal take. And then I could just play devil's advocate, and we could just do that. Because here's the thing, though. I think that sometimes when you just have a debate opponent and you say, well, we're just going to go ahead and practice on each other, try to use different people who support you as well, too, in these arguments that won't run to the opposition and say, here's what he's going to do in his argument or debate or anything like that. Like people you trust, use these resources. And I think when you become more laden with resources, what we don't do is what the left does, is eat themselves alive. They don't depend on each other, so they're less resource dependent. On our side, we have a ton of resources. We're together, and this is why they demonize us and call us a cult, right? Hence all this other ad hom attack they use and all this. Mind you, this is what I'm saying, though. Next time you have a debate, Wi-Fi Gospel, feel free to reach out. We could do a Discord debate, and then I can go ahead and play devil's advocate on certain issues, and I could say, okay, cool. I'm for, no borders or anything like this. And matter of fact, I'll try to go ahead and just stomp you. And this could be like you ever see X-Men where they have the war room, or Star Trek when they have a holodeck? This has to be a simulation where you feel like you're really in the trenches. No, I really don't like you. And this needs to be like Wi-Fi Gospel. 30 more minutes until we're friends again. That's how it has to be. And I think that
sounds awesome.
If we approach this in a real war room holodeck scenario, to where it's like, I could probably die because of my worldview looks really stupid right now. Well, good. Maybe we can help you refine that, because I just saw a weakness and I attacked this, and now I could take you down. Now you're harder to take down because you got taken down by your very own, and now you just get better, right? This is what I'm proposing to you guys.
Yeah.
If you
are you gonna put a fake bull ring in Marte?
No, we're not doing all that.
Your hair blue? To really play the part,
man. That's crazy. You just crossed the line, bro. That's crazy.
Hey! You gotta pull off the look for real.
AJ. You just went too fast. That's almost like TOS. That's almost TOS right here on my channel. That's crazy, bro.
You're gonna put the center ring in and be like, open borders, and I ain't Trump.
Yeah, but Wi-Fi, that's my proposition. So
I followed you on X, probably. Dude, you were like one of the first people I followed on X. It was funny because I went on there and you just popped up on like my homepage. And I was like, oh, who's this dude? And so I followed you I think 6 months ago on Twitter, on X. So follow me back on there, and you can
culture rants and stuff. So
yeah.
I think
I'm so down for that. That's awesome.
Marte, was on Twitter.
Yeah, I'm against the Shaniquas. Only I'm not gonna go too far with the Myron thing and put on one of those clans helmets or anything. I don't do all that. I just don't like the culture so much to where it's like, I think that if I demonize and put shame in the culture, maybe we might be able to see some change, because even the church has this in the Orthodox sect. When we see this, like if we'll shame somebody and call them a spinster because they're going to grow old and then depend on like in vitro fertilization, the reason why we don't have these things is because shame is still a powerful tool on our side. Not only this, but we have tradition that we're beholden to and all this other stuff. We have community, everything else. But I think in the debate sphere, the debate sphere, we need to have this and integrate this a little bit more. So I'm letting you know, Wi-Fi Gospel, you have a resource in me. I don't run to the opposition or enemy and saying this is what's going to happen. Like I don't do any of this stuff. I don't care. Like I'm alongside friends with Andrew, Rob Knorr, Jake Rattlesnake, Cool Vic, all these other people. All you guys are leaning towards my side, you know, and it's like we want to go ahead and feed and build our own. Wi-Fi Gospel, I want you to be better than me, bro. Like, because if you're better than me, then I could cheer for you in these debates and be like, bro, I just saw him stomp, but this is nothing compared to the monster he is now. Then I'm eating popcorn at a furious rate compared to now. Could you see the possibilities? This is crazy. I like that. This could happen.
Yeah, hell yeah. I'm
You'll
down,
get
man.
actual practice instead of, you don't see Marte and Rob Knorr and Andrew on TikTok muting people. You see Marte is on enemy territory or whatever, doing actual debates, and that's why Andrew's been able to annihilate these people, Rob Knorr, because they're these TikTok debaters, right? That rely on a mute button. It's like, this is like they say that a lot of these people who try and do stand up, so I'm funny on YouTube, but then I'm gonna try and do stand up and they suck because they haven't practiced doing the crowd control that an actual stand up comedian does. They're used to talking into a camera and being in control. And that's kind of what you guys are doing. You're like an actual stand up person doing the crowd control, reading the room. Yeah. You know what I mean? Being clever, thinking on your feet. Whereas these TikTok knuckleheads like that, Crash Out, Kathy Chick, and Dean, they're so used to being on TikTok muting people, and that's who you guys are going to be going up against. And you guys are going to cook them every single
We'll get
time.
better, because Wi-Fi Gospel, when I see you debate and I see Vic debate, your time, like everybody's got like a little bit of lag time. Like you have lag time, and that's appropriate for now. I have a little bit of lag time, and what I'm talking about with this lag time is like, let's say AJ just had like a counter, right, or a rebuttal to something I said, and then I'm just going to wait for a little bit, and I have to think a little bit. That time actually gets cut shorter. And shorter and shorter. The more you do debates, the more you have better comebacks, the more you refine your debate, and the sharper you become. Because I think getting attacked constantly, you start having this pattern that happens within yourself, and you start saying, I've been here before. Things start looking more familiar, but also different at the same time. And then you start coming up with this fluidity that starts to develop doing debates. And then it's like, damn, you know what? I know how to buy time to where I don't have this lag so much. Now the audience is bought into it because there's not crickets chirping and me waiting for my response. And then it happens less and less, and it decreases to points where now Wi-Fi Gospel is like the gospel. They're literally using Wi-Fi to hear the gospel out of this guy's mouth as liberals are being eviscerated right now and crumbling in their liberal tears right now, as they wish they would have came into better debate spheres and saying, you know what, I should have stayed on the couch because Wi-Fi Gospel showed up. And that's what I want to see next time you have a debate, and that's what's going to happen. I'm confident that you and Vic are going to do this. Maybe separately, maybe as a duo again, but it's going to happen, because if you get inspired to do this and you're in these trenches, we need more people. And here's the thing, though, Wi-Fi Gospel, I'm going to say this real quick. The trenches are empty. They're freaking empty. We don't have anybody in the trenches. What, me, Andrew Wilson, Rob Knorr, Jake, Rachel sometimes, sparsely a few people. That's it. That's nobody. The trenches are absent. We need you, Wi-Fi Gospel. We need Vic. We need all you guys. We need all the numbers. We have a numbers game right now. The liberals, think about it. They got nothing but people that are willing to seppuku and then kamikaze themselves into debates that they'll be willing to lose. They just have numbers. We don't have numbers. We need more people. But even more than that, we need competent men in the front who are charismatic, who have charisma, can learn how to be more entertaining, which you'll learn. You'll be better. You're going to come into your own. And the more you do this, the better you're going to be at. There's nothing that's going to be a better teacher than experience. And you do this, more often, and we do this, and we'll devil's advocate and do all these other things that we talk about, and you're going to be more exciting, and your numbers on your channel are going to increase, and it's going to happen, and you're going to put on a freaking clinic. And then once that happens, I'm going to say, damn, I knew this guy when he just had a sniper.
He's at 500,000. But why? Yeah. If I can cut in really fast. I know younger guys that listen to people like Andrew Wilson and Marte, and with your beliefs too. A lot of young people have never heard Christianity spoken about in the way that Andrew Wilson and Marte talk about it. The last 25 years, 30 years of the Protestant church, has been the man bun having, tatted up, Jesus rocks, youth pastor guy. You know what I'm saying? The total beta male simp, to where when they hear Christians actually standing on business and drawing a line in the sand and calling out evil and degeneracy and actually looking and saying two dudes with each other is wrong. Being a slut is wrong. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not being shamed into backing away from the strong stances that the church has. Young guys want to hear that. They want to hear that. Christians have been kind of like forced into, well, I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings. Marte doesn't care about hurting anyone's feelings when it comes to the gospel or Christianity. Andrew Wilson doesn't care either, because the truth is the truth.
Yeah.
More people need to be like that. That's why Gen Z young men are actually moving more towards conservatism, Christianity, than any other group since the boomers, because they're hearing people like Marte and Andrew Wilson that are making them understand, wait a minute, like, this degeneracy that's going on now, I knew this was wrong. And there is an alternative. There's a justification for this feeling I have, and this goes against biblical principles. So,
not even that. Like, we can argue for Christianity without having to mention Christianity. And that's the beautiful part about this, is I think that if you have a ethical system that's supported by all this, you can just say, how would you feel if your daughter slept around? You wouldn't want that for her, right? You don't, like, you notice how I didn't mention the scripture or anything like this. But Wi-Fi Gospel, I think you're going to do well, man. I have good hopes for you guys. Actually, I don't want to use the word hope. I have a lot of faith that you'll do well, man. I honestly do, man.
Thank you. I really appreciate that, and I'm looking forward to having some false, what do you call them, devil's advocate debates with you. That'll be fun, man. I appreciate you willing to do that.
But here's the thing, though, Wi-Fi Gospel. Just know that I really like you when I tear your head off. Just understand that I'm not your enemy when I really go after your argument and try to shred it to bits. So when I tell you 30 more minutes until we're friends again, I mean that I'm not your friend if we're in the middle of a debate. I'm a liberal, like, or whatever it is. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man. But that's the only way that you're going to be better, is if we simulate this. And we can, like, I have to be a liberal in my, like, not method acting or anything like that. But if I'm debating you, I have to be able to see if this guy's argument is really good. Can it go up against even my mock best liberal argument? And this is the thing, though. Like, we have to think about these things. And I think that that's a really good way to set everything up. But anyways, next time you have a debate, that's cool. But I might rely on you. I might say, hey, Wi-Fi, I got a debate coming up. Maybe you can be the opposition of this, as long as it doesn't morally conflict with your beliefs. You see what I'm saying? Like, I don't want you to represent, like, God is gay. You know, like, hypothetical to our belief. We would never take that position, even as the devil's advocate. That's stupid, right?
Yeah.
But just imagine,
Miley Cyrus had a clip where she was on a breakfast show and she said some dumb shit like that.
Yeah. But just imagine you're going to be in the middle of something that could be an optics nightmare. Like, somebody might tell you a question that it's a super optics nightmare. They might say something to the effect of, like, does God know what gay sex feels like? Like, how do you answer this? Well, tough question, right? Well, here's how you can answer it. You could say, no, but I'm sure you do. Like, things like that. You have a way to answer things, because do you understand the optics nightmare?
Marte and myself. See, Marte would actually be clever, and I just call him a retard to their face and hang up the phone. That's why you guys are debaters and I'm not.
Yeah, that's why I say you hear what I'm saying. Like, no, but I'm sure you do. You know how I tell him, like, he's at the behest of his own question that he just asked, and notice how I just kind of like did the whole, Taekwondo thing and just softly moved that out of the way so I can really get to the heart of the debate. You're gonna learn how to do this and evade like questions that would be an optics nightmare to Christians or anybody else on our side. You're going to learn how to be better at just evading these things, because these questions, like if I would have asked somebody else like that and Jay would have just been like, well, you're an artard or whatever like this, like that would have just stuck a little bit, right? But how I answered it, I would have made the audience laugh. They would have just been like, oh, damn. Okay. It's like, but you're going to start learning how to segue. And then you're going to start learning how to move and deflect certain things as well, too, especially with really nasty questions that are so insulting that you're just going to turn this on them. And it's going to be beautiful. You're going to do this in your own way. I'm not a debate coach, but I'm just telling you, you'll come into your own pretty soon.
Dude, thank you so much for having me up here. And I'm looking forward to it. Like I said, I followed you on Twitter. Follow me back. We'll stay in touch. And, we should make like a little Discord for us guys and just help each other out and do that stuff. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, for sure. I look forward to shredding you and seeing how long you can listen. The liberal devil's advocate punishment,
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
And AJ, nice to meet you, bro.
Hey,
Good stuff, man. I just wanted to bring you up. I didn't want to like rob all your time tonight. But yeah.
No, you're good. Yeah.
After debates, man. So you'll see me in your chat from now on. So yeah.
I'll drop you a sub here
Good
too.
work, man.
Yeah, thanks again, guys. Really appreciate both of you.
All right, Wi-Fi. Good
Have
stuff,
a good
man.
night.
Have a good one. Yep. Yeah, that's the thing though, is like I think it's good to like just have back and forth when it comes to people. But I think on our side, we'll roast each other, but it's kind of just to weed out the weak people, first of all. But then secondary, it's a way that men bond. But women in these B-dubs don't bond like that at all.
Yeah.
They have nothing.
They can't
on
simulate conflict. Oh, guys can play fight. We'll throw them up. Blah, 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 girls always fight.
Women don't do that. They can't. They're too sensitive for that. Yeah.
Okay. You had said, hold on, that first amender guy, he was trying to say that, hold on. I lost it. It was something about he was talking about. Oh, you had said, does transformerism happen in animals, right? And here's the thing. You would think that by adopting his, liberal atheistic worldview, where we're just animals, right? We're just animals.
Yeah.
You don't see why does he make a specific exception for human beings when it comes to sex and gender, and not apes and dogs and all of that other stuff, right? You understand?
I don't know. It's just a weird question.
It just doesn't make any sense. If we're an animal like a mammal, like a whale or a dolphin, how can they say somehow that we're different and that we can transition from one to the other when they don't say that dogs can, apes can, chimps can, whatever? It's just
that's what I addressed. I actually addressed that when I said, how do you make a male rat look more like a male rat? That kind of already encapsulated that whole answer too as well too. So that's the thing though, is I addressed that too. And then the thing that I asked them, remember when I talked about optics nightmares, I like putting people in scenarios towards an optic nightmare and they have to either bite a hard bullet or they have to just deny it and then accept their whole argument is false. When I asked them, I said, if a woman walks into a bathroom, a transformer woman walks into a bathroom, and occasionally you'll see a 6-year-old girl in there because her mom brought her in because she didn't have daycare, so she brought her to the gym, right? Is it okay if a 6-year-old sees a lady dick? I literally asked him this in this debate, and then he said, no, it's not fine. And then I said, hold on, this is a lady. According to you, it's a lady. So what's wrong with that? So it's like, you see the optics nightmare. So there was other paradoxes I asked him. And it was like, there was no way he can get around this. Like when I asked him, I said, if the moderator's doppelganger were to bang a trans person, is he still heterosexual? And then he said, well, I don't know. And I said, hold on, you know everything else about gender, but you don't know this? That's crazy.
Yeah, it's sad, isn't it? But this
Just
is
crazy.
This is where things are now. I mean, it's sad, obviously, but the thing is, I think things are slowly turning around. You look at Gen Z and
Slowly,
Gen
yeah.
A, and once again, look at how Andrew Wilson goes viral. You've gone viral a couple times. People, there's a reason why like the conservative or more right-wing part of content is going more viral, is because there's a need that's being addressed. And I even heard that there's supposedly an anti-Me Too movie coming out by some actresses, some actors had talked about like Me Too might have gone too far. So Hollywood's even kind of like trying to backtrack and say like, hey, maybe we need to stop being so woke all of a sudden. So
Yeah, ticket sales are bombing because of this, because women are not buying the fact that this woman can whoop 9-10 foot tall linebackers' asses in a hallway. Somehow these people are saying, well, damn, I'm not going to go see that because that's unrealistic. Even women are not even selling out these box office when they say this. So it's like, it's so imaginary. It's such a fictional universe that not only this, we're endangering women by making them think that they can do this.
Yeah, it's called After the Hunt. It has Julia Roberts and Andrew Garfield. It's a psychological thriller that's all about the Me Too movement. And this Andrew Garfield plays a professor who's accused of SA on a student, and then his friend, who's Julia Roberts, who knows him, like kind of knows that he didn't do it, and she's trying to help him through the whole like avalanche of craziness from Me Too. You know what I'm saying? And
yeah.
Like even having it be like maybe the guy didn't do it, they're trying to say that it's anti-woke. Has it already come out?
I don't know, but I mean, I'll check for it. It's crazy. I'm a weirdo. I look at horror movies all the time. But anyways,
have you seen It Follows?
Yeah, the movie that's like a spiritual STD, basically.
Dude,
the whole
that movie is a good one, dude. And then see, newer films are gory, not scary. They're not horror films, they're just gore films, But like the 80s had some good ones, the 90s had some good ones, the 2000s. But a lot of the newer ones are just gory. You know what I mean?
There's one that you should see. I just saw it. It's called Good Boy. It's a haunting from the dog's point of view, and it's actually pretty good. And it's not really gory, but it's scared the crap. Like that movie was actually pretty good. It was but it's sad too at the same time. Like from the dog's eye view of a haunting in a house and a guy living in this house with people, it's terrifying because of course they say animals can hear things we can and all this, but it's a different take on the genre. I thought it was pretty innovative for them to come out with this, and I thought it was a good concept. But yeah, it's only like an hour and 13 minutes, but it feels like a 2-hour movie.
That's awesome.
Pretty good.
Remember Poltergeist?
Do you know they use real skeletons for that?
You moved the headstones, but you didn't move the bodies.
Yeah, those were real human skeletons that were in that scene,
bro. Yikes, man! Yikes! I actually don't really like horror movies. I'm not a fan, but I like the older ones because they were just like good movies. Friday the 13th, and Halloween, and Poltergeist and all that, Night of the Living Dead, but all the newer ones, I feel like they just try too hard. You know what I mean? So, but all right, my friend, I'm going to dip, but hey, man.
Sounds good. I'm about to wrap it up too. So
1,100 subs, the sky's the limit for it.
Yeah, 1,100. Mr. 50,000 telling me about 1,100.
Hey, check out the live stream that I did earlier. You can find the video that I covered on Police Insider where Nug goes and shoots his baby mom in Home Depot.
Oh yeah, you were telling me about. I'll go check it out.
Yeah. But check out the video. Maybe you want to react to it too, because it's everything wrong with the Black community all in one video.
Oh, that's my favorite content. So
that Home Depot is a microcosm of society as a whole. And there's even one Keisha who got shot in the back. She just tanked it. She's just sitting there on her phone, like, "Hey, yo, she got shot in the back." She's like, "What? What happened?" It's like she just tanked the bullet wound to the back, and she's just on her phone, like, "La la la." Dude, I've seen B-dubs get hit by cars. I've seen B-dubs get tossed out windows and stuff. Dude, they just tank bullets like the Master Chief.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. I'll check it out for sure,
All right, my
man.
friend. Hey, take it easy, buddy.
Appreciate you stopping by. All right, bro. I'll talk to you later. Anyways, hey guys, it's been real. I'm about to bounce. But anyways, you heard it. I love horror movies. I like watching the classics. The Thing is the best horror movie that's ever existed. I don't care what anybody says. There's nothing better than watching Kurt Russell and a bunch of men try to figure out who's the traitor in their midst, or the person who's the dissenter, or the alien. To me, that's like when isolation horror is pretty good when it comes to this. Yeah, of course, Wilk Moto says nothing will freak out someone faster than Jason Mask in the woods. Works every time. Jason was actually resilient. He was the unstoppable force. I actually am a bigger fan of Jason as far as like a horror movie villain. Jason is, oh, damn. Pterodactyl actually brings up a damn good point. That's like in the running for like #1 favorite vampire movie. That's one of my favorite. Josh Hartnett played a good role in that town. And if you think about it, the worst place for anybody to go to, it would be a place with no light for 30 days. It's actually 30 days, not 13 days. In Nome, Alaska. I think it was like Nome, Alaska or something like that. Crazy. Yes, The Thing is like the all-time favorite movie. Actually, not even in horror. In action, thriller, suspense, everything else. The thing isn't, it's funny because the guy Rob Bottin, who did the special effects, he didn't make it just a gory movie. It's not a gore movie. It's more like a logical, suspenseful movie because it's like a whodunit, who's the thing, all this other stuff. It was a really well thought out movie by a guy who wrote Who Goes There, which they had the original Thing. There was a book called Who Goes There, and then they had an original book called The Frozen Hell, which could be Thing Part 2. All this other stuff, and I think they're remaking The Thing in the original movie, which remakes are never good, by the way, unless, because there were some good remakes. The Fly was a good remake. Believe it or not, they had the black and white Fly, but the one with Jeff Goldblum was a remake, and that was an amazing movie. You know, so when they do remakes can be good, but they're typically not that good. So yeah, old Howling movies freaked me out as a kid. Yes, especially in the end when they showed the hamburger meat grilling, but then the skin that was popping during the Transformer phase looked like the popping or the bubbling meat that was cooking. Their skin was bubbling, and it was weird because they showed that dichotomy between the bubbling meat and the bubbling skin as the transformation happened. That was crazy. And the size of these werewolves and the makeup and special, yeah, that was terrifying. Terrifying. It was just crazy. Not only was it crazy, it was amazing. Candyman was the only black horror movie. Do you know that's based on like true events? Yeah, in Cabrini Green, the projects, there was a guy who was living in the walls of a building, right? And this guy had escaped. He was at large. Yeah, there's a long story. Google it. It's crazy. So that was crazy. Halloween 2009. I'm kind of like on the fence about that. Michael Myers is an unstoppable force too. He's another one too. I will never watch Rob Zombie's version. I feel like it's just going to be stupid because I heard he makes noise and I heard he talks. Mrs. D has entered the chat. Welcome, Miss D. Thank you. I'm actually, she shows up when I'm rapping sometimes when I'm wrapping up, but I'm going to wrap it up. You know what? I'm going to say this real quick. Miss D is one of Jake Rattlesnake's mods. She's one of the best mods in the business. Not only is she a good mod, but she's fair, firm, and consistent with moderation on Discord and everything else. You guys say hi to Miss D. You know, tip your hat. Good people. She represents our side, matter of fact. So everybody that comes in, you know, you're welcome, especially if you're on the right. If you're a dissenter, somebody who's from the liberal side or the panelverse, I even welcome you too because you guys can get destroyed by me in the debate. I don't care. I don't care. But that's the thing though, is like when it comes to horror movies, I might hold a horror stream because I'm a massive fan when it comes to horror. And then not to mention this, but if we're talking about horror, we have to think about the liberals, the anti-Christ agenda, all this stuff. I'm into horror. The reason why I'm into horror is because I don't really have fear. I can go into that. I had a parasite called toxoplasmosis. And what toxoplasmosis does is it deletes fear. No, really, it does. It gets in rats, and then it runs towards the cats, either mice or rats. It's attracted to cat urine. It runs towards the danger because it eliminates the fear response in these animals by, I think it's oxytocin. It just has an overabundance of oxytocin release, which actually counteracts the fear that you would feel. So the cats eat it, and it gets into the cat feces, which is why if you're pregnant, you don't want to be switching out litter boxes when you're pregnant because the toxoplasmosis can get to the fetus. I happen to contract this. And if you see cats mowed down or flattened in the street, it's probably because they had toxoplasmosis. They don't have a fear of cars on the street. So they run out to the street and they get hit by cars. Cats that are wild that get out there may have a parasite called toxoplasmosis, which I got. And here's the thing I'll even admit. I don't know if anybody knows this, but I'm blind in this eye. I can't see anything. So if I cover this eye right here, I actually can't see anything. It's crazy. But if you look at my face or my eyes, you can't tell the difference. This one isn't all cloudy. It just doesn't work, man. So the toxoplasmosis parasites ate so much of my retina that I have no vision. So I'm literally a pirate. There. Now you guys have some lore about me you don't know. But in the process of me getting toxoplasmosis, I actually don't have fear. I remember one time I was on a roller coaster and I couldn't wait for it to get off because I was like, is this almost done yet? It's weird because this whole transfer of fear, this deletion of fear that happens in you, you miss fear because you want it. I became more accident prone. I took more, like when it came to more risk, I took more risk because I don't have fear anymore. And then not to mention this, but when I watch horror movies, it's just storytelling to me because I'm not scared. It's really weird. So you guys that have fear, be thankful that you have a fear response. I don't have fear. This is why you have UFC fighters go to Mexico to purposely contract toxoplasmosis. Because if you get toxoplasmosis and you fight in the ring, you're more confident because you don't have fear. But also you're going to take more risk, which is like really crazy. So yeah, Miss D brings up a good point again. Like I was saying, yeah, when you get pregnant, don't be around cats and changing cat litter because the fetus could get toxoplasmosis and they can become dormant and the eggs can be stored in the body for a long period of time. It eats eye tissue and brain tissue, right? So both of my retinas were falling off. And that's how I knew. If I never went to the doctor, who knows what could happen. But study toxoplasmosis and just Google the fear response. It literally eliminates fear. Like, you know how Daredevil is the superhero without fear? Like, that's like, people think that's a superpower and it's not. I don't have fear. This is why when I get into debates with people, I don't get really emotional. I don't get pissed or anything like that. And you know, I don't have fear or any of this stuff. Miss D asked, how old was I? I was actually 27. So I wasn't that old when I got it. I've been living with my right eye only working for years. And I've adjusted. This is why when I drive, I don't drive with the windows down because if something gets in my right eye, I'm blind. Like if it blows in the car and I have to do this, I'm blind for like as many seconds as I have to do this. And then I try to do it real quick so I can get on the road and look where I'm going. It's really crazy. Yes, Angel. He's right about this. It alters the activity of the amygdala in the brain, which processes fear. Right. I literally do not have fear at all. This is why, like later on, but also it's like a pro and a con. But there's a lot of pros with not having fear. Here's the pro. When it comes to exciting things that you normally would have been terrified for, running towards fear, you're bored of now. Like if somebody tried to instigate a fight with me, I would just say, okay, what's the worst that can happen? I'm not going to die. I'm not going to die from this. I might get knocked out. That's what your thinking transfers to when it comes to fighting, because you don't have fear. Well, on the opposite side of this, you'll then think, well, I don't want to fight because that's going to be tiring. Then I'm going to be sweaty. And like, that's literally how so fights become boring to you because of that, because you don't have fear. It's weird because now I process things a whole lot differently. It's weird. It's really, really weird. As D says, wait till you have children. I know, right? Wokemoto says, me and my kid must have that, bro. I'm on my 46th broken bone. He's a nut on his dirt bike, too. Yeah, I don't know. I would get tested for it to see if you have it. I don't know. You know, Angel says it affects about 40% of the total human population. Yeah, it affects a lot, especially in third world countries. You have a lot of people that just don't have fear. To what degree do you not have fear too? There's also different levels of toxoplasma. I didn't have mines like, I would say like take the antibiotics. It wasn't antibiotics. It was like a anti-parasitic pills or something like that. I take to destroy the toxoplasmosis parasites. I think it's like Toxoplasmosis gondii. Weird. There's, you know, the guy named Gandhi. That's literally how you say it, right? It's crazy how I got this. And it's like, it's not an STD or anything. It's just a parasite, but this parasite does a number on you. It's crazy. I would suggest that nobody get toxoplasmosis. You want to have fear. A healthy level of fear is good. You don't want to get toxoplasmosis. It's not good. I don't care how many fighters go to Mexico to contract it so they can fight in the UFC without fear. Don't get it. I wish I still had my fear because I would enjoy roller coasters. I miss how scary movies used to terrify me. I miss like people jump scaring me or anything like that. Like I don't experience it. I don't have that anymore. I don't know what fear feels like anymore. And if it feels like I'm flexing, I'm not. I'm definitely not flexing, man. It's just, you don't want to, like, you know how you walk out of the door and you think anything can happen? What if something happens? Your whole what if doesn't exist anymore. Like, what if I walk down the alley and somebody has a knife? You stop thinking about that anymore. Because you're like, so what? If they have a knife, I'll just run. Like, literally, it sounds like you become more stupid. But what it is, you become, like, less risk aversive. That's what you become. Like, I'll see an alley and just be like, all right, well, whatever. I'll probably see him before he comes. Or if I see him, maybe I'll have like 2 seconds before. Like, that's not rational. You should be afraid of that. You shouldn't think, damn, only 2 seconds? Like, that's what a fearful person would have as far as a response. Like, I'll be on a roller coaster and just be like, all right, yeah, that's cool. This was just sightseeing from different angles. That's literally how I think. It's so stupid. Like, now that that's ruined for me, like, what else can I do? Just skydive and just be like, all right, well, I just got my face blown and body blown for like 30 minutes or however long that takes, and I'm on the ground. That was cool. I got to see the air for a bit. Like, that's how I'd probably process that. You know, it's weird because also people with toxoplasmosis have a higher risk of self-deletion too, because you're not afraid of that either. You know, it's just bad, man. If you guys ever do your research on toxoplasmosis and like the whole elimination of fear, it's crazy. It is crazy. Angel says, fear is a teaching emotion as well. It can teach how to overcome odds that are risk aversive because of the fear. It is a challenge to control fear. Yeah, I don't have that challenge, unfortunately, anymore. It's like fear has been deleted from my existence. Deleted. Really deleted it all, man. I don't have fear. And this is why I don't run from debates. I don't run from fights. I don't run from things when wisdom should take over, because I know what fear is. When fear doesn't exist, you start becoming a bigger risk taker. Like, that's what you do. Because you're either bored of the fear, the things that used to have, you know, imbue you with fear, kind of bore you to a little bit. It's weird. Cleaner says, I just had too much time, too much wartime. Nothing makes me afraid except the idea of not going to heaven to catch up to. Oh, man, that's like a heartstring tug, right? That's crazy, bro. That's a. Damn, Cleaner came over here just to break my heart and ruin the movement a little bit. Like, I was like trying to just bounce a little bit real quick and just wrap up the stream. But damn, man, that's a brutal thing to have to read, man. Oh man. That's crazy. Like me, I had to process that. That's really sad, bro. It's so sad, bro. Oh man, but like, damn, man, I don't even know how to respond to that, man. There's so much in that message. Hey, man, my heart goes out to you, man. That's crazy, man. Just I don't even know how to respond to that, Cleaner. Damn it, man. You just make comments that are just hard to respond to. Because it's like I want to say, man, you know how it is, man, us guys, but it's like, wife asked, man, it's like you put a safeguard of like, no, you can't just brush this off because I slipped the wife thing in there. It's like, oh god, okay, all right, whatever, bro. Yeah, it's crazy, man. Pterodactyl says, bro, I still go forward with most things, but the way you put it sounds crazy because it seems like I wouldn't even have the opportunity to think about the other options. It's hard. Yeah, it is, man. Really hard, man. It is. It's difficult. Barber says that's the point of the point of the parasite to lead its initial host to predator. That is the true host for its infect. Yeah, that's a good angle, right? Really good angle. I think that I don't run towards predators. I just don't recognize predators anymore. I don't know what that is, right? I mean, I do recognize that. I'm just not afraid of predators where I don't have like the big warning lights that should be going off. That's crazy. Yeah. I appreciate it, bro. I've been listening all show, man. Tonight was a good show. You know what? I wanted this just to be a 30-minute show, man. I did not expect this to go that long. And then AG jumped on and Wi-Fi Gospel. I had to kind of just tell him that he did a decent job. I thought he did a good job, man, tonight. So he can't get scared, but homie can cry. Yeah, I know, right? You know what? I can't get scared, but I can't be a liberal. How about we just reframe that a little bit, Ms. D? I can't get scared, but I also can't believe in Transformers. We could do that, man. You get some rest and be ready for verbal war, bro. Yeah, man, it's going to be crazy. I got a couple of debates ahead of me coming up. I have a marriage debate that's coming up. If this guy can accept it, then I have a debate defending the red pill. And then I have another debate after. I just got a couple of debates lined up. These are going to be pretty good. And then I also plan on infiltrating First Amenders stream as well, too. That's going to happen. And then I plan on infiltrating Wick's stream. That's going to be a surprise, too. So if you guys like TikTok's invasions, as far as like what Andrew does, I'm going to do panel invasions. I'm going to start going to war and invading Wick. If you guys know who Wick is, Andrew and me have debated him in the past separately and together on 2 different occasions. I'm going to start crashing his panels as a conservative. I'm going to start crashing First Amenders panels like Debate a Liberal. I'm going to surprise him and just show up one time and then wreck him on his own stupid panel. Like, I'm going to start doing that. I'm going to bring you guys along for the ride because, of course, I don't have fear, right? So I might as well demonstrate this, right? For any skeptics out here that I could debate a liberal and to destroy him again. I did it already. I could do this again. And you know what's crazy? There are liberals that I don't want to debate. There's a lot of, like Tree of Life or Tree of Logic, which she should be Tree of Illogic. I don't want to debate people like that because they'll start doxing you. People like that dox you. They start going to low blows. They look up your past. They don't just do ad homs. They go for family. They go for personal attacks, things like this. That's really nasty work, right? So there are liberals that I don't, and it's not anything to do with fear. These are just liberals I won't debate because they will use every dirty trick if they're not going to win a debate and even go after family, kids, loved ones, dox you, you know, unalive threats by their family, all that stuff, man. Tree of Life, I believe she's one of these people. She did a whole expose on the Wilsons. That was crazy. Like, I want to try to figure out how to phrase this, but I don't want to like violate TOS to say this. If she was a guy, I'll say it like this. This is the best way to say it. If she was a guy and I saw her in the street, she would look like ground beef by the time I was done with, he would. If she was a he, they would look like ground beef by the time I was done with them. Like, you don't go after people's kids like that. You know, you don't go after family like that. You don't go after people's wives like that. And then you're going to part and parcel all of this in one. That's crazy. Like, none of you guys have seen me really go off on anybody. I don't even remember the last time I ever got mad. Let's be honest. Probably because I don't feel fear or any of that stuff, right? But that's the thing, though, is like, if we really think about it, like, you have to think about, if you don't have fear, it must be harder to get angry. But I guarantee you, because Rachel Wilson and Andrew Wilson are like family to me, if anybody went after their kids, if anybody went after Rachel like crazy because she's like a sister, Andrew's like a brother, if anybody went after these people like that, or Jake, even Jake, you know, I would call him a brother, right? If anybody ever went after these people, I would like, you guys remember John Wick when the puppy got unalived and he was on a mission? I'd probably go on something like that. For sure, if anything crazy happened, and I would begin to question my Christian ethics. That would challenge me. I'd be like, I'll just ask for forgiveness later. Like, that would be really challenging for me. Really. I think I just have to be like, well, I'll pray about it later. Hopefully maybe I'll repent about this later. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's crazy. There are people that I won't debate that will go to that point to where it makes debating them, even if you were to destroy them and win, so untenable and in such a undefensible position to justify why your family should be attacked for coming in good faith. It's just crazy. Insane, right? Angel says she is horrible after what she has done to Andrew, and CGA went to her for fake dirt to continue to spread, reaching out to a feminist progressive. Another mask off moment for him. Yes, for sure, man. This is why I don't go after Tree of Logic. I want to. Yeah, bro, you don't know how bad I want to go after Tree of Logic. I want to just rip her mask off, rip her face off. I don't really care. I'll go after people like Tree of Logic or anybody else, but it's not worth it, bro. It really isn't. What's up, Thumping Weevil? Tell the man I said hi too, man. the horror fan himself as well too. But that's the thing, though, is like, if I go after these people who are bad faith actors like Tree of Logic, I think Gary, the numbers guy, I've heard stories that he's just as bad. Because like once from a good source, I heard this from a good source. I'm not going to go ahead and out them. But other people like that, they're not worth debating, even if you could win. They're honestly not worth debating at all. Says he's sleeping. Probably from top flight security of the world. Being the best, you know what I'm saying? You just got such a good protective mechanism next to you, sleeping, where it's like he's actually earned that sleep. I think that's why it's good to have a hardworking man and not a stay-at-home husband. Because these men, when they go to sleep, they literally earn their sleep. And I think that's what pisses a lot of women off when these guys get on video games, right? Like one guy told him, if you work a lot of hours to where your woman doesn't have to kill herself at another job too, and you get a part-time job, she's not going to hassle you for video games. Next thing you know, he's playing like 8 hours of Call of Duty on Saturdays because now she doesn't have to kill herself at a job and she could take time off. Now she's like, oh, he actually feels like he earns it now. Yeah, that's different. Just like sleep. I think if you work hard as a guy, this is going to sound really crazy, but I think that sleep and showers should feel like something that you've earned. Like when people say, well, I don't know how to get to sleep, it's probably because you didn't really do that much that day. You see what I'm saying? It's like my unproductivity was so low that I have insomnia now. Like that's also a thing too, right? It's just crazy, man. It's just insane. Andrew says Andrew would agree because, or Angel says Andrew would agree because he hasn't retaliated on her, even though he has the greatest justification. Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. I like Angel. Do you understand how badly I want to go after Tree of Logic? How badly I want to go after CGA and all these other people? Like, heads up. I just want to be like, hey, let's just have a debate. Right? And then ambush the shit out of these. I can't do it. Like, the juice isn't worth the squeeze. I know I've said this numerous times before, but it's not worth the ad homs, the attacks on family, wives, kids being doxxed, unalive threats by their fan base, all this. Them doing an expose like Tree of Logic did, all this other BS. Matter of fact, Chuck just did a debate where she did low blows on Rachel. Watching this, I'm going to cover it tomorrow night. This debate she did. And then not to mention that, but when I cover this, I'm going to be really upset, but I'm going to be as honest as possible with the commentary. I'm going to try to be fair, right? And then that's why what's also motivated me to post like the debates where I destroyed Chuck, aka Enemy Charlie, whatever she goes by, on here, because it emboldens me to understand that if I can destroy her and then Andrew can destroy her, she bleeds like everybody else, right? Like in Predator, when Arnold was like, it bleeds. If it bleeds, it can die, right? I think the same thing, but I don't want to be nicking people in debates. I don't want to cut them. No, I want to dice them into pieces. I'm not here to just nick the opponents, man. That's crazy. I nick myself all the time when I shave sometimes. I don't want to do that to opponents. That's like pity pat play fight and stuff. I'm not here to play around when it comes to that stuff. I want to destroy these people, but like I was saying, there's some liberals that I'm not going to debate. Absolutely. There are some liberals on that side, feminists, that I won't debate. They're so bad faith that they will wreck their whole platform, go after kids and all this other stuff just to go after you. They don't care about their image. They don't care about any of this stuff. I just had somebody challenge me to a debate against Andrew. And I had to talk to Mr. E. I had to talk to Grid One Motorsports about this today. And Mr. E, I had a conversation. I think I can talk about this. I don't think it's like saying too much. But this guy wanted to challenge me to a debate. One of Coach Greg Adams, I guess one of his supporters. And he said, Andrew doesn't practice ecclesiastical marriage. He's a contradiction walking. And I said, oh, I'll debate you on that all day. But then they talked to me and they said, well, hold on. This person knows Tree of Logic. And automatically, I'm the one that told him they know Tree of Logic. And they said, well, if he knows Tree of Logic is going to be by their phone or at least in the background of their stream. And they were like, nah, you don't want to have to do a debate to where Andrew's going to have to defend something about it later on, even though he wasn't present. You know, change the prompt to where it's like not Andrew, but about marriage. But you see that? Like if somebody attacks Andrew or Rachel or something, like I literally want to go to war with them and defend my friends. But they make a lot of sense because I can't defend Andrew's marriage. Because I don't know the ins and outs of it. I don't live with them, right? Even though he's a friend. I don't know the ins and outs, but it's just that whole dilemma of like, they attack my friend and I'm like, no, I'm going to go to war for them. I don't care. But they're right. Andrew can defend himself. I guess, you know, it's whatever. It's just, I just don't like it when people attack family, people like that. Like, just stupid, man. Like, I'll take bullets for these people. Like, people, conservatives on the right that support me, I'll go to war for them too. But Andrew and Rachel and everybody else like that, they're in a whole lot closer families, you know, sphere too. So it's just crazy. Let me check on these chats real quick. Well, sleep on the couch. Tried to put blinking on him. Said I wasn't sleeping. Like, dude, you're. Oh man, that pride was kicking in, bro. The pride was kicking in. Yep. Pride is a mofo sometimes, man. Just crazy. I feel like I want to give him a hard time for that, real quick. Ah, bro, sleeping, man. What are you trying to do? You know, it's like if I'm watching a tearful, like one of those tearjerker movies, and I look at myself and I'm like, get back in there. I am trying to suck tears back in my eyes real quick because a dog died or something like that on screen. Like, I don't know, man. We don't want to reveal the fact that we're not a rock to our woman. I think there's something it's like a deep-seated part of our nature where we don't want to be vulnerable to our wife or our woman. It must be something related to like Samson, Delilah, maybe, because she was able to take him out because he confided in her about his weakness. But I think that can apply to all kinds of other things when it comes to marriage, our woman, things like this. Because like, I'm not saying like there shouldn't be trust. What I'm saying is I don't want my woman to know that I'm not invincible. I don't think that that's a bad thing at all. Like if I'm dating somebody, I don't want them to know that I have weaknesses. Like if you want to find out I have weaknesses, you got to work for that to try to find out what they are. Because I'm not about to sit here and tell you what my weaknesses are. What's the advantage of that? So that way you can get pissed off one day, and I'm not assuming every woman's going to do this, but every woman gets pissed off one day. You get into an argument, and then guess what happens? Oh, it slips out. You know, that's why you were eyeballing that woman the other day. What? Hold on. I told you that in confidence. That in another relationship, I did that. Not this relationship, but in another relationship or something else. You know, something really sensitive about us or something like that. It's like, because I don't want to weaponize things or have people weaponize things against me. I think that's man's biggest fear too. And that's why we don't want to be vulnerable, because these things have been weaponized against us in the past, maybe. Things like that happen sometimes. Crazy stuff, man. Really weird stuff. But anyways, this chat has been actually really, really based, man, tonight. That breeds a positive light into kids, the adulthood, and the community afterwards. That's what we need to rebuild in America. I feel like there's more context to this. Hold on. That's what we want, though, Weevil. When your kids are older and out of the house, maintain themselves, you have time to help others. Your community, which makes you feel awesome. Yeah, pretty base stuff, man. Cleaner's pretty base, man. And Angel's pretty... You know what? My chat reigns supreme when it comes to base content and rhetoric. You guys are awesome, man. Like occasionally, like I'll do a stream and I'll glance back in the comment section and I'll read something. I'll be like, damn, man, I see why these people follow me. Because they're not talking about Transformer stuff, supporting the pride flag and all. Of course, obviously, there's like, you know, really obvious things I could point out here. But for the most part, like there's a kinship that I have with followers that I have on my channel, which is pretty good. Yeah, Wookmoto, W chat. Yeah, W to the chat for sure. You guys are base, man. And I hope you guys can hold me accountable too. Like if I have like a faux pas, slip up or screw up or something like that, call me out on my bullshit. You know, I'm okay with that, man. Hold me accountable. I'm not one of these guys that's gonna be like, man, you know what happens, man. You know how it is, bro. And just obfuscate, just make up excuses, no accountability channels. It's like, you know, I'm the fearless leader. You know, I can't do no wrong. Like, I'm not trying to be one of these guys, man. If I lose a debate, tell me I lost a debate. How about that? Look at me being vulnerable with my chat right now. If I lose a debate, just tell me, Marte, you got stomped, bro. It's like, just tell me, like, but don't ever tell me that I won a debate against Andrew if I was to like play devil's advocate and read like did a mock debate against each other to try to lift my spirit, because that's not going to help me out, bro. It's not going to help me out. Like, oh, bro, you got Andrew good. No, now you're lying to me, bro. It's like that's what I'm saying. Like, if I lose the debate and get stomped, say, hey, man, I understand what you were doing. Grid 1 is good at this. He taught like, oh, it stung when he told me this time. It's like you have a dad that tells you something and you hate your dad for those few moments that he's talking to you. It's like, Marte, you had really good rhetoric, but like, this is how Grid talks. You had really good rhetoric, but you know, the point that he made here, like, that's Grid right there. Daddy Grid, you know, being the dad. But that's the thing, though, is like, I hope my chat can hold me accountable when even if I do content and I go too hard on the Shaniquas or something like that, you know, It'll be good, man. Thumping Weevil based. Where's my gosh? Thumping Weevil. I might have to arrange that because when I do, you know what? Thumping Weevil. Damn it. You drive a hard bargain, Thumping Weevil. You know, we might have to do this. Might have to give you a wrench because you asked for this. And this is the reason why, Thumping Weevil, I'll probably give you a wrench. The reason why is because if I look through my chat, I don't have a moderator. I have RX, RG, and then I have, AG. RX and AG are not present. I don't have any mods. And then my mod AJ that showed up on the panel instead of in my chat. Like they're not even, so I don't have mods. So I might need to recruit. Let me go ahead. Thumping Weevil, let me do this right now. Since I'm live on air right now, I know how to go ahead and make people mods on my phone. But it's weird because when I try to do this, when it comes to like the laptop and stuff like that, it's weird. It doesn't happen. So I don't know why this isn't showing up. Here we go. Thumping Weevil. Let me look up your add as moderator. All right, Thumping Weevil. Let's see if you have that. I don't know if you got a wrench, but if you post in the chat, maybe it'll show up. Okay, back to this. Oh, I will, but I'll also give you positive push afterwards too. Yeah, I agree. Cleaner, I think you'll always be honest, man. You'll be a straight shooter when it comes to certain things. Ogmoto says, Marte, just don't say rat uterus. You'll be okay. God, I can't believe this guy went to the rat uterus argument in the Transformer debate. That was crazy to get stomped. Oh, hold on. Thumping Weevil got the wrench. She is now a female mechanic. Crazy. Just a crazy thing to even think about. A female mechanic. Crazy. Crazy stuff. Yeah, chat mechanic. Hey, just because it literally wins every debate doesn't mean we should not use it. Yeah, I know, man. Let me go ahead and show off Thumping Weevil's wrench. So Thumping Weevil, I trust you to kind of regulate a little bit in the chat. These are the duties. If you see anybody using, you know what, I need to go in here and just omit words off of here, like the whole H-lur, the snotzy word and stuff. I'm going to figure out how to regulate all that stuff too, so where people can't use words in the chat, but also making sure that people aren't really breaking TOS. What is it? Checking people, timing people out. If like Dusty gets here, time him out for like a minute just because. Just do that just because. I don't care. Like, if Dusty didn't do anything but show his presence, that's an automatic 60-second timeout. Like, that's just going to be his common courtesy and his welcome wagon. That's it. Look, nothing I'm doing is too harsh. That's it. So we'll see. Says you're blue now. Yeah, she's definitely blue. Mods, look out. Just came, my man taught me right. Oh, man. And she supports patriarchy. How could I not? So yeah, definitely. Yeah, he gets the intro timeout. But you see, 60 seconds is nothing. This isn't like me banning people or anything like that, or not welcoming discourse. I'm not saying Dusty, if he gets in the chat, I'm just going to be like, no, I refuse to talk to my opponents or enemies and stuff. I don't care. But yeah, that's funny though. Dusty will be a Minuteman. Yeah, he's a Minuteman for sure. Anytime he shows up, it's just an automatic minute. Look, it's like me just hazing people a little bit that I feel like should be hazing. Because he gives me more, he's way harsher on me. The content he produces against Andrew, Rob, me. He attacks me all the time through his content. I think that it's fair play just to time him out for 1 minute. I'm not attacking him with content. I'm just saying shut your mouth and know that you can be muzzled for just 60 seconds. That's it. It's not harsh. Not harsh at all. He can wait 60 seconds. You're a grown ass man, bro. If you really have something to say, I'll even bring you on the panel. I don't care. I would destroy my opponents here too. I don't care. I'm open for discourse with people who disagree with me. So like I said, I told my chat, if I screw up or make a mistake, you guys can hold me accountable too. I don't care. I'm not going to be one of these people that just rants and says he's right about everything. I don't care. But yeah, I have some streams coming up tomorrow. I have a stream. Matter of fact, I'm going to post it that I'm doing the stream tomorrow about the post Andrew Wilson debate with Chuck. God, that pissed me off so much when she was talking about Andrew's wife and all that. And I have to just really get ready for that. And then, not to mention this, but I also have some debates coming up. The Jubilee debate is going to come out pretty soon too. That's going to be this Sunday. That will be releasing. I have coming up an OTE membership drive that's coming out on the 19th. That's going to come out. And then on the 26th, remember what I did with the horror survival debate thing, or the survival horror debate? I have the Harvest Horror Showdown coming out. Now, this Harvest Horror Showdown is going to be really cool. The cutscenes, it's going to be horror, but the Thanksgiving version of this. Can you guys survive the Harvest Horror Showdown? I think last contest winner got to win a custom 3D avatar monster version of them. This winner is going to win their own avatar as well too. Actually, 2 avatars of 2 monsters of your choosing from the classic Monsterverse, and 2 images as well too. The avatars are going to be animated. It's going to be an animated version of you, which is pretty cool what I could do with tech nowadays. So that's going to be good. Thumping Weevil could have won it. She was like this close last time. So Thumping Weevil, if you win the Harvest Horror Showdown, when it comes to horror, and if you can figure out how to survive these scenarios, you're going to win an avatar of a monster version of you that you can put whatever you want. It's going to be 2 different versions. They're going to be animated, and it looks pretty cool, actually. You know what? I should show them. I don't even know if I got them. Hold on, let me check, because I might have them. I might not. Real quick. I know Daniel won it. Okay, I don't have that here. I'm going to show it to you guys tomorrow night, what the avatars look like. They're really cool. Daniel was a vampire. He had the teeth, and then he was a zombie. But then it looked like him, like a zombie version of him when he was just moving and laughing at the camera. They look so cool. But these are the prizes that you win when you win the survival horror debates on my channel. We'll come out with these. But anyways, I'm out for the night. Oh, looks like Thumping Weevil's out for the night too. I'm going to sign off, man. It's late. I'm going to eat. I got school in the morning. You guys take care. Anyways, Christ is King, or Christ is God. You guys be safe. I know I can probably talk for days, man. Yeah. If I feel like if I keep talking, it'll be like another 2 hours, man. Anyways, I'm signing off. You guys have an amazing evening. I'll see you guys tomorrow for tomorrow night stream. I'm going to try not to go on too long about Chuck in this whole post debate thing, but it pissed me off so much. And I'm going to review that tomorrow. So anyways, signing out. I'll talk to you guys soon. Christ is God. You guys be well.